Chapter 5741. Shanghai Laner soon received a letter from Tian Chan. She had been waiting for Lin Yi's news. The primordial spirit projection had never stayed in the secular world for such a long time. It was impossible to say that she wasn't worried. On the contrary, Han Jingjing had always been full of confidence in Lin Yi. She never thought that after he went to the secular world, Lin Yi would be in any danger. Jingjing, come and read the letter from Nakajima. It's from Tian Chan. Shanghai Laner was very loyal. She didn't read the letter first, but first found Han Jingjing to share the news. After Lin Yi left, the girls didn't stay together anymore, but their friendship deepened and deepened. They became best friends who could talk about anything and everything. When Han Jingjing heard Tian Chan's name, she immediately dropped what she was doing and ran to Shanghai Laner's side to read the letter. Lin Yi has a problem. Shanghai Laner, who was originally in high spirits, suddenly froze. She threw the letter and ran out. Han Jingjing hurriedly pulled Shanghai Laner and said, "What are you going to do?" "I'm going to find my grandfather." "Didn't you see Tian Chan say that my grandfather might be of help?" Shanghai Laner tried to shake off her arm, but she didn't get rid of it. She immediately stomped her feet and said, "Calm down." Han Jingjing directly pulled Shanghai Laner over and tried to calm her down first. Senior Shangguan is of course powerful, but he may not be of any use if he goes. The will of heaven, Okuda, and these people, which one of them isn't an experienced and knowledgeable overlord? The status of any one of them won't be lower than your grandfather. Shanghai Laner thought about it and agreed. If her grandfather was of no use, what should she do? "Jingjing, what do you say?" "I'll listen to you." Shanghai Laner was too lazy to think about it. Anyway, there was Han Jingjing, who was comparable to a supercomputer. She didn't need to use her brain. Han Jingjing didn't hesitate and said solemnly, "You tell Senior Shangguan first. I'll go to Nakajima first and see what's going on." "I want to go too." "Wait for me. I'll ask my grandfather." "I'll come soon." Shangguan Lan knew that if she wanted to leave, she needed Shangguan Tianhua's permission, so she didn't wait for Han Jingjing to agree and ran out. This time, Han Jingjing didn't hold her back. After a simple packing, it didn't take long before Shanghai Laner hurried over. Her little face was full of disappointment. "My grandfather agreed to let me go, but he said that he doesn't know much about the situation in this area. If the people of Nakajima can't do anything, he won't have any countermeasures. He has something to do these 2 days. Maybe after these 2 days, my grandfather will go over and have a look. He also asked us to inform him of the situation at any time." Shanghai Laner was a little unwilling, but there was no other way. It was not easy to leave here and go to Nakajima. Han Jingjing nodded and said, "In that case, let's not delay. Let's go immediately." Of course, the little princess of the North Island would use the best flying spirit beast to travel. Under the protection of the masters arranged by Shanghai Tianhua, the two quickly rushed straight to the sky and flew to Nakajima. After arriving at Tiandan Pavilion, Han Jingjing quickly saw Lin Yi, but she couldn't do anything about Lin Yi's situation. This was also expected, so there was nothing to be disappointed about. "I understand. This is the only way." After looking at Lin Yi's situation, Han Jingjing said very indifferently, "What should we do?" Tian Chan hurriedly asked. She also knew how smart Han Jingjing was. Others couldn't do anything, but Han Jingjing might be able to think of a way. "I want to go to the mortal world and find Brother Lin Yi's soul. I want to see what happened to him," Han Jingjing said casually. It didn't seem like she was talking about something dangerous at all. Tian Chan and Sydney shouted at the same time, "No!" Both of them knew the danger of spirit projection, so it was absolutely impossible for them to agree to such a thing. On the contrary, Shangguan Laner asked curiously, "Why not? If we can find junior brother Lin Yi's spirit, can't we bring him back?" "Jingjing, you are really a genius. You found the key to the problem at once." Tian-chan smiled bitterly and said, "How could it be so easy? The primordial spirit projection is already very dangerous, and there are restrictions on the strength of the projector. It must be above the nascent soul realm. With Jing-Jing's strength, she doesn't even have the qualifications, let alone face the dangers." Han Jingjing shook her head firmly and said, "No, I must go and see. The problem of strength is not a problem at all. I can solve it. Also, I will find a way to reduce the danger to the lowest level. According to my calculations, there is at least an 80% chance that we can go to the secular world without any harm." For some reason, Han Jingjing's words were so easy to believe. Not to mention 80%. Even if Han Jingjing said that she was 100% confident, Tian-chan felt that she would also believe it. In the end, Tian-chan also wanted to know what happened to Lin Yi in the secular world. Since Han Jingjing insisted on going and was sure that she would not be hurt, then Tian-chan seemed to have no reason to stop her. "I understand. I will go to the master of Okuda Island and ask him to help arrange a spirit projection. But Han Jingjing, you must promise me that nothing will happen to you." Tian-chan said seriously. If it was possible, she also wanted to go to the secular world to find Lin Yi. Unfortunately, she had no confidence, so she could only pin her hopes on Han Jingjing. Han Jingjing took out a soft armor from her bag and showed it to Tian-chan. Then she said solemnly, "I will be fine because I have been preparing to die in the secular world for a long time." Before Tian-chan could speak, Sydney asked curiously, "Jingjing, what is the use of this soft armor? Does it have anything to do with spirit projection?" "That's right. Because I don't know when Brother Linny will come, I have nothing to do. So I casually studied this soft armor. If I have the chance, I will go to the secular world to play with him. It just so happens that I can use it this time." Han Jingjing nodded and said. Then she pointed to a round bulge on the chest of the soft armor and said, "There is a spirit beast's inner core here. It is the key to spirit projection." Tian-chan felt it and said with some realization, "It is the inner core of a spirit beast at the peak of the nascent soul realm. You want to use this soft armor to deceive the spirit projection device and pretend to have the strength of a peak nascent soul realm cultivator?" Chapter 5742. Shangguan Laner said anxiously, "Jingjing, your cultivation is too low. Even if you go, it's useless. Let me go." Tian-chan immediately objected. "Lan, you don't know the situation in the secular world. You can't even find your way there. Let me go." Tian-chan couldn't go before, but now that she saw Han Jingjing take out the soft armor, she knew that she could use it to go to the secular world. So, she immediately rushed to find Lin Yi. Han Jingjing put the armor away. "You guys don't need to fight. I'm the only one who can help Lin Yi this time. The others won't be able to help. I made this armor for myself, too, and you guys won't be able to use it to its fullest potential. The chances of failure are very high." Tian-chan and the others were speechless. In this aspect, Han Jingjing's talent was absolutely beyond their comprehension. Even if Han Jingjing was talking nonsense, they couldn't tell whether it was true or not. "All right, this matter is settled. Sister Tian-chan, please help me arrange the primordial spirit projection as soon as possible. I'll adjust this soft armor." Han Jingjing didn't plan to say anything else and just closed the coffin. Tian-chan and Sydney looked at each other and had no choice but to accept this fact. The primordial spirit projection was quickly arranged. Because of Lin Yi's abnormality, Okuda had long been prepared. Originally, the will of heaven planned to personally project his primordial spirit projection, but he was extremely unfamiliar with the secular world. Before collecting enough information, he didn't dare to act casually. Otherwise, it would be a waste of time. So, when Han Jingjing said she wanted to go, she could leave immediately. However, Okuda and the others were not very optimistic about Han Jingjing's safety. Tian-chan and Sydney tried to persuade Han Jingjing again. "Jingjing, why don't you let me go? Your level is a little too low. How are we going to explain it to Lin Yi if something happens? Since you can adjust this soft armor, you can definitely let me wear it, right? Tian Chan held Han Jingjing's hand, trying to convince Han Jingjing to give up on the primordial spirit projection and let her take over. Unfortunately, Han Jingjing was very determined. She shook her head and said, "Sister Tian Chan, there's no need to say anything. I'm ready. Let's start. Big brother Lin, he might be waiting for me to help him. Let's not waste time." After that, no one knew how Han Jingjing did it. But the soft armor she wore on her body emitted a faint light, and the powerful aura of the nascent soul stage slowly rose. There was no flaw at all. Okuda was also amazed. It's exactly the same as a real peak nascent soul cultivator. If I didn't know the truth, I would definitely be fooled. It seemed that it would not be a problem to hide from the primordial spirit projection device. You're indeed a genius in the aspect of refining weapons. Han Jingjing smiled slightly. She was a genius, but not a genius in refining weapons. It was just that this kind of thing was too troublesome to explain, so she let Okuda figure it out himself. Tian Xingjian nodded. That's right, this soft armor is really amazing, and it's very effective in scaring people. However, after you project your soul, you'll be weakened for a period of time. You have to be careful, find Lin Yi, and bring him back as soon as possible. Han Jingjing smiled and nodded. I'll remember. Thank you, Brother Tian, for reminding me. Let's start now. Seeing that Han Jingjing was determined, no one continued to persuade her. Instead, they gave a few words of advice. Okuda also started the primordial spirit projection device. With the soft armor as a disguise, Han Jingjing's primordial spirit easily completed the projection. After breaking through the barrier, it went directly to the secular world. Outside a small town in Europe, Han Jingjing appeared in a sparse forest, feeling a little dizzy. Her primordial spirit projection was random, so it could not accurately bring Han Jingjing to Huaxia. Instead, it brought her to Europe, which was a huge deviation. However, there was a shadow of a soft armor on Han Jingjing's primordial spirit. It was the work she used to disguise herself as a Yuanying peak. Unexpectedly, she also brought it with her. Where is this? Han Jingjing looked around her surroundings in a daze. Her divine sense was not strong, and she was not used to releasing it, so she still used it to see more. The soft armor on her body turned into a set of ordinary casual clothes, and her primordial spirit quickly transformed into a primordial spirit body. The process was so fast that if Linny saw it, he would definitely be stunned. When Linny came down, he had to go through untold hardships to condense a primordial spirit body, and he was almost eaten as a big tonic. Perhaps this was also the function of the soft armor. But the soft armor was originally made by Han Jingjing, which proved that she was a genius. Unfortunately, at this time, the genius beauty Han Jingjing still had a cute look on her face. She looked around in a daze and then walked slowly. The grove was not big. In a few minutes, she walked to the edge. The road that was faintly visible before was completely revealed in front of Han Jingjing. 6 kilometers in Austin. Han Jingjing looked up at a road sign on the road and thought to herself, what kind of place is this Austin? Of course, it is definitely not China, because the text on it is not Chinese. As a top student, this is not difficult for Han Jingjing. It seems that I have come to Europe. It seems that the primordial spirit projection is random. Now there is no way. Brother Linny, you have to wait for me. Han Jingjing sighed, whispered a few words, and walked in the direction of Austin. Although with the help of the soft armor, Han Jingjing successfully condensed the primordial spirit body. But if she wanted to fly, it would consume too much divine sense power. Now Han Jingjing's strength has been reduced to the peak of the middle stage of Heaven Stage. This is still the strength that has been preserved by the blessing of the soft armor. If she flies, it is likely that she will not find Linny. Han Jingjing will be passive to the heavenly island. So Han Jingjing can only go to this Austin first, and then find a way to contact the people in China. Whether it is the Liu family or Kong Xiaobo, they must be able to get her there smoothly. Lin Yi has the space of the jade pendant to carry things, but Han Jingjing only has such a soft armor and nothing else. Fortunately, the strength of the peak of the middle stage of Heaven Stage is also regarded as a master in the secular world. There is no need to worry too much about safety. After a few steps in the direction behind Han Jingjing, there is a car approaching quickly. In Europe, hitchhiking is a very common thing. Han Jingjing does not want to waste her divine sense power, so she simply stood on the side of the road and stretched out her arm to give a thumbs up. Chapter 5743. Hi, beautiful, where are you going? A white youth in his 20s in the driver's seat greeted Han Jingjing with a smile. Judging from his attire, he was not a rich man. The Bumblebee was just an ordinary model, barely considered as a low-end car in Europe. But this guy's expression made him look like a rich second generation. It was as if he was writing on his face that he wanted to hit on her, and this was her honor. Han Jingjing slightly narrowed her eyes and revealed a harmless and innocent smile. I'm going to Ostal up ahead. Can you give me a ride? Of course, no problem. Come on, the white youth said with a warm smile. He opened the door of the front passenger seat for Han Jingjing. But Han Jingjing had already opened the door of the back seat and shrunk into it. The white youth was slightly startled. He did not say anything else and could only smile awkwardly. He leaned over to open the door of the front passenger seat and then stepped on the accelerator. My name is Johansson, beautiful. What's your name? The white youth deliberately slowed down the speed of the car. It was half as slow as when he came, so he had time to turn back and talk to Han Jingjing. Han Jingjing said lightly, You can call me Liu. Oh, by the way, please turn your head and look at the road while driving. Thank you. It was just a ride. Han Jingjing did not want to talk to this Johansson. She reminded him and turned her head to look out of the window. It only took a few minutes to travel 6 kilometers. When they arrived at Ostal, they went their separate ways. Johansson laughed and said, Liu, don't worry. My driving skills are very good. There are no cars on this road, so there will be no accident. Are you living in Ostal, or are you looking for someone or traveling? Han Jingjing casually said, I'm just taking a stroll. Then you're in luck. I'm very familiar with Ostal. Although it's just a small place, there are still a lot of fun places. I'll be your tour guide. I promise you'll have a good time. Johansson immediately said. Han Jingjing guessed that if she said she was looking for someone, he would also say the same thing. Can I borrow your phone for a while? Han Jingjing really didn't want to talk nonsense with Johansson, so she directly borrowed his phone. In any case, it was not easy for Han Jingjing, who had no money on her, to make an international call. Johansson was secretly delighted. He thought that his handsomeness had moved Han Jingjing, and she was going to give him her number. He immediately took out his phone and handed it over, saying, Here, you can use it as you like. This is the latest model. It has only been on the market for 3 days. You know that, right? Han Jingjing casually took it, but she didn't even bother to smile. Why was he showing off the latest phone model in front of a genius like her? With her ability, any toy she made would be better than an ordinary mobile phone. Although it had been a long time since she made a call to the secular world, Han Jingjing's memory was extremely good. Naturally, she would not forget those numbers. However, after dialing, she was prompted that this phone was prohibited from making international calls. Han Jingjing was speechless. She didn't expect to encounter such a thing. It seemed that this Johansson was indeed a pauper who liked to show off. He even deliberately set up such a restriction. Forget it. I'll think of a way when I get to Ostal. After hanging up, Han Jingjing threw the phone in the front passenger seat and continued to look out the window with a calm face. In front of Lin Yi and the people she knew, she was the innocent and pure Han Jingjing. However, now that she was alone in Europe, the hidden Liu Jinghan character began to slowly awaken. When Johansson saw that Han Jingjing did not use the phone to talk to anyone, he thought that his guess was correct. She was indeed interested in him, so she gave him her phone number. Johansson secretly observed Han Jingjing's exquisite and perfect face and figure through the rearview mirror. His heart slowly began to burn. There were still about 3 kilometers to Ostall. He couldn't wait to return to the town. He simply turned the steering wheel and drove off the road, heading for the small forest at the side. Han Jingjing frowned slightly and turned to look at Johansson. "Aren't you going to Ostall? Why did you deviate from the main road?" "Dear Lou, we are all adults. Since we both have a good impression of each other, there is no need to be shy. My car is very comfortable. Of course, I will make it more comfortable for you," Johansson said with a smile. However, that kind of look made Han Jingjing want to smash his face with the sole of her shoe. Even an idiot would know what such explicit words meant. Han Jingjing said with a frosty face, "Stop the car? Otherwise, you will regret it." "Ha ha ha, Lou, you are so cute. Is it okay to do it here? You can still see a little from the road. It will be more hidden if you go in. Of course, if you like it here, it's okay. I have no opinion, and I promise you will not regret it." Johansson had a dirty smile on his face and deliberately distorted Han Jingjing's meaning. In his opinion, Han Jingjing just happened to come here to play, and she left her phone number in his phone. Obviously, she was not an old-fashioned woman. It was not a problem to bring her to play in the forest. Even if Han Jingjing was not willing, it was not up to her. Johansson's brain was now filled with lust. He desperately wanted to rape Han Jingjing. Han Jingjing suddenly quieted down and looked at Johansson coldly. If she wanted to kill this idiot, it was just a matter of moving her fingers. Even if Han Jingjing did not practice or fight, her strength was real. Johansson suddenly felt a chill in his heart. Although he did not understand, he did not want to continue driving in. Seeing that the road was already blurred, he estimated that this place was remote enough, so he simply stopped the car. After putting down the back of the front seat, Johansson turned and said with a smile, "Baby, come on. Do you want to take it off yourself, or do you want me to help you?" As he spoke, he reached out to touch Han Jingjing's pretty face. He did not even think about whether Han Jingjing would resist or not. Han Jingjing raised her eyebrows and suddenly reached out to grab Johansson's palm. She gently twisted it back. With a slight cracking sound, Johansson's palm directly turned back 180 degrees. "Ah." "I said you will regret it." Han Jingjing calmly shook off Johansson's hand and wiped her hand on the seat with some disgust. She felt that touching this trash was very dirty. Chapter 5744. Johansson suddenly thought of something and pulled out a .38 pistol from the storage compartment. He pointed it directly at Han Jingjing's forehead and shouted, "You son of a bitch! How dare you attack me? You're dead today. I'm telling you, you're definitely dead today." Han Jingjing looked at the black muzzle indifferently. The spirit was not afraid of the bullets of this kind of pistol. Even if she was not a spirit, Han Jingjing's strength was enough to easily take down this pistol at this distance, so there was nothing to worry about. Johansson gritted his teeth with a ferocious look and said, "Bitch, take off all your clothes. I'll ask you for compensation today, and then I'll deal with you." Although the pain of the fracture in his left wrist made Johansson's forehead break out in a cold sweat, he would not be reconciled if he did not have sex with Han Jingjing a few times. Han Jingjing snorted twice as a mockery of Johansson's words. Then she reached out again and grabbed his right wrist. There was another crisp sound, and the .38 pistol fell directly into Han Jingjing's hand. Johansson screamed again, sweating all over. That kind of bone-piercing pain was definitely not a joke. Looking at his pale face, it was likely that he would faint at any time. "I just wanted to teach you a lesson, but your ability to make me angry is not bad. Now you should be satisfied, right?" Han Jingjing said with a faint smile. She pinched the pistol and broke it, then threw it out of the car window. Johansson looked at Han Jingjing in fear. This girl, who was as beautiful as an angel, was simply as terrible as the devil. As compensation, I'll take your car first, as well as your cash and mobile phone. Han Jingjing didn't know how to get some money to make an international call, and it just so happened that this Johansson came to her door. Since he wanted to rob her, Han Jingjing didn't mind robbing him in return. Without waiting for Johansson to speak, Han Jingjing nimbly got to the front seat, then opened the door and kicked Johansson out. Of course, his wallet was already in Han Jingjing's hand, but Han Jingjing might have been focusing on the wallet, so she didn't pay much attention to the position when she kicked him. When Johansson flew out, he seemed to have heard the terrible sound of an egg breaking. Han Jingjing didn't care about the guy's screams. She closed the car door and drove away. Anyway, this guy shouldn't die. After a while, when he didn't feel so much pain, he could walk to the road and ask for help. Johansson was lying on the ground with cold sweat all over his forehead. His body was curled up like a shrimp, and he looked at his car in despair as it sped away. He didn't expect that a seemingly normal hunting trip would turn out like this. Han Jingjing suddenly stopped the car and stretched her hand out of the window. In her hand was a bag of white powder. This was what Johansson cared about the most, a bag of heroin. The pistol from before was placed together with the heroin. Han Jingjing happened to see it in the open storage compartment and suddenly felt that she was too kind to Johansson. Obviously, she couldn't consume so many drugs by herself. Johansson should be transporting drugs, so he had a pistol. She just didn't expect that this guy would still have the mood to look for women when transporting drugs. He really deserved it. Seeing the white powder pouring out of the transparent bag in Han Jingjing's hand and then drifting away with the wind, Johansson was completely desperate. Even the pain of his egg breaking couldn't compare to the unbearable pain of watching all this happen. Without this batch of goods, he could only hide his identity and flee. Otherwise, he would definitely die a more miserable death. After dealing with the drugs, Han Jingjing continued to drive. As for whether Johansson was dead or alive, she didn't care at all. This kind of trash would only be better for the world if he died. Austin arrived soon. Han Jingjing parked the bumblebee at a remote intersection and then took out all the euros in Johansson's wallet. The wallet was thrown under the car seat. Han Jingjing didn't plan to continue to use this car, so she didn't pull out the key. The most important thing now was to contact the people in Huaxia and figure out the situation of Lin Yi first, and then ask someone to pick her up. The stack of notes in Johansson's wallet was about 400 or 500 euros. It seemed to be a little less for a drug dealer, but it was enough for Han Jingjing. Pushing the door open, Han Jingjing was just about to get out of the car when she found that something was wrong. This place was originally not a place where cars came and went, but now there were 2 cars rushing over at a very fast speed. The target was obviously Han Jingjing's bumblebee. Because of Johansson's particularity, Han Jingjing felt that she might have been targeted. She released her divine awareness a little and became more and more sure of this. The Europeans in the 2 cars were holding guns in their hands. The evil forces here are so rampant. They dare to come with guns in broad daylight. Han Jingjing whispered. She lowered her body and quickly rushed into the alley next to her. She was not afraid of bullets, but she was afraid of trouble. Whether these people were coming for her or not, it was the best choice to get rid of them as soon as possible. As for continuing to drive and race with them, it was not a movie. Was it necessary? Catch that woman. Don't let her run away. As soon as Han Jingjing entered the alley, someone shouted and chased after her. It was a person from one of the cars who jumped out. Another person went to check the car that Han Jingjing had abandoned and shouted, "Johansson is not here, and there is nothing left except a wallet." It really has something to do with that idiot. It's really annoying. I just wanted to hitch a ride. Why are there so many things? Han Jingjing stood on the roof of a 2-story building and looked at the guys who were chasing her below. She snorted softly. The other party found her so quickly. It should be that the car had been installed with a positioning device. It was estimated that when the idiot Johansen turned into the woods, he had already been noticed by them. Otherwise, they wouldn't have found Han Jingjing so quickly. Deviating from the scheduled route meant that there was an accident. Although they returned to Ostal immediately, they didn't go to the place they had agreed to meet. It would be strange if they didn't come to investigate. Chapter 57:45. Looking at their posture, they would not stop until they found Han Jingjing. In this place, the power of these guys seemed to be very strong. No one dared to say anything with a gun in the daytime. Han Jingjing was not worried about falling into their hands. She just didn't want to waste time. So she simply sneaked into the house under her feet and found a phone to use first. Before sneaking in, Han Jingjing certainly used her divine awareness to make sure that there was no one inside. In such a close place, her divine awareness was still competent. The first call, Han Jingjing did not call back to the Liu family. Compared with the relationship with Lin Yi, the Liu family without her was far less powerful than Kong Xiaobo, Lai Changyi, and others. So Han Jingjing directly called Lai Changyi. The two had business dealings before, so she still remembered his number. After a few rings, the other side connected. "Hello, who is this?" Lai Changyi said directly in English because the number showed that it was from Europe. He thought it was someone from the Buffon family looking for him. "Lai Changyi, I'm Han Jingjing." Han Jingjing certainly had no problem communicating in English, but the two Huaxia people were on the phone. Of course, they spoke directly in Huaxia language. Lai Changyi seemed to be stunned, and then he cried out, "Han Jingjing? Lu Jinghan? No, sister-in-law, you're back too?" Lai Changyi and others certainly knew Han Jingjing's identity. Suddenly hearing Han Jingjing's voice, Lai Changyi suddenly became excited. This was the second person to come back from Heaven Stage Island besides Lin Yi. How could he not be excited? Han Jingjing did not beat around the bush. She asked directly, "Where is brother Lin Yi? Is there something wrong with him?" "Jingjing, sister-in-law, you know." "Yes, the boss has been in a coma for more than 10 days. Although there are no scars, he just doesn't wake up." "Sister-in-law, are you in Europe now? Can you come back as soon as possible to think of a way?" Lai Changyi did not talk nonsense. He simply explained the situation and asked Han Jingjing if she could go back. At this time, Han Jingjing came back from Heaven Stage Island. There was no need to ask that she came back for Lin Yi. Otherwise, she would not ask if there was something wrong with Lin Yi. "Brother Lin Yi has been in a coma for more than 10 days? Has there been no response?" Han Jingjing frowned. It made sense that Lin Yi's main body was unconscious on Sky Class Island, since his soul had been projected to the common world. But what did it mean when his soul was unconscious in the common world? This matter seemed to be a little troublesome. Fortunately, according to Lai Changyi's words, Lin Yi's primordial spirit was fine, just unconscious. No matter what, he had to see Lin Yi first. "Lai Changyi, I'm now in a place called Aldos in Europe. Because I came back from Heaven Stage Island, I don't have anything on me. Find a way to bring me back." Han Jingjing and Lai Changyi didn't need to be polite. They were all people by Lin Yi's side. "Okay, sister-in-law, please wait a moment. I'll check it out." After Lai Changyi said that, there was a clattering sound of the keyboard, and then he said, "Sister-in-law, I've checked Aldos. It's a small town, but it's only 150 kilometers away from Lanmi. It'll take a lot of time for me to send people there. If it's convenient for you, go directly to Lanmi to find Su Shirhan and Chengyi. They should have returned to Lanmi for a concert." "Is Shirhan also in Europe?" Han Jingjing was surprised. If that was the case, it would be more convenient to go back with Su Shirhan. After all, Su Shirhan wasn't an ordinary celebrity. "Yes, sister-in-law Shirhan is a guest of Cheng Yi's concert. This time, Lan Mi is a makeup concert. It's a long story. Let's talk about it later. Anyway, as long as you can get to Lan Mi, you can come back with sister-in-law Shirhan. You can take her private plane. You don't have to worry about anything," Lai Changyi said with certainty. With Su Shirhan's background and fame, her private plane wouldn't encounter any trouble or inspection. After thinking about it, Lai Changyi said, "If it's not convenient for you to go, then I'll contact someone to pick you up in Ostall, or I can ask sister-in-law Shirhan to go there." "It's okay. I can go there myself," Han Jingjing said casually. It was just 150 kilometers. It would only take 1 or 2 hours to get there. If Su Shirhan came, it would be a waste of time. "Well, sister-in-law Jingjing, write down their phone numbers. I'll contact them first. If possible, it's best to come back as soon as possible." Lai Changyi was also worried about Lin Yi. If Han Jingjing had a way to cure Lin Yi, of course, the sooner the better. Unfortunately, Ostall wasn't within the Buffon family's sphere of influence. Otherwise, Lai Changyi would definitely ask Kerman to send Han Jingjing back. With their partnership and Kerman's identity as half of Lai Changyi's disciple, these small things shouldn't be a problem. Han Jingjing remembered the numbers Lai Changyi gave her and hung up. She took out €100 and put it next to the phone. It was the cost of this international call. As for whether she gave too much, it wasn't something Han Jingjing needed to consider. Anyway, it was all along. It didn't matter at all. As for contacting Su Shirhan, it wouldn't be too late to wait until they reached Lanmi. Right now, she had to think of a way to get to Lanmi. Han Jingjing, who was about to leave the house, suddenly felt something was wrong. It seemed like there was a threat approaching. What could threaten her was definitely not a gun or something like that. She released her divine sense and found a middle-aged white man in black with a crossed sword in his hand. His eyes were looking straight at Han Jingjing's direction as if the wall couldn't stop him at all. Han Jingjing suddenly frowned. There was actually someone in this town who could threaten her, and he appeared in front of her so quickly. It was too much of a coincidence. But Han Jingjing wouldn't think that this was an operation specifically targeted at her. She just projected her soul from Heaven State Island. Even Okuda and the Will of Heaven didn't know that Han Jingjing would appear in Europe. It was impossible for them to specifically send someone to deal with her. This old man looks like he has some skills, but I can't see his strength level. It should be the European system. Han Jingjing thought about it and felt that there was no need to waste time. So she turned around and left the house from the other side. Chapter 5746. The arrows in her hands did not stop as she continued to perfectly block Han Jingjing's path of advance. Unfortunately, the perfection that Hunting Bao thought was perfect was still full of flaws under Han Jingjing's terrifying calculation ability. Coupled with her superior strength, she was able to easily avoid all the arrows. Hunting Bao suddenly felt some regret. She should not have jumped down from the roof. As an archer, attacking the enemy from a high position was always the best choice. However, she had foolishly given up this advantage. She was too careless. She thought that the two of them would be able to defeat this girl. She did not expect to kick an iron plate. Unknowingly, Hunting Bao changed from advancing to retreating at an extremely fast speed. As a result, her arrows were inevitably scattered and there were naturally more flaws. With Han Jingjing's speed and momentum, Hunting Bao was very worried that she would be caught by Han Jingjing in the next second. However, what surprised her was that Han Jingjing, who clearly had the opportunity to deal with her, suddenly changed direction again. Black Shirt, who had rushed over to help, was shocked. He thought that Han Jingjing would not be able to easily change direction with such a fast speed. However, Han Jingjing seemed to completely ignore the effect of inertia and change direction at a large angle without any difficulty. Black Shirt, who originally wanted to help Hunting Bao and sneak attack Han Jingjing, was now facing Han Jingjing head-on. The distance between the two of them continued to decrease. Hunting Bao's expression changed greatly. Only now did he understand that Han Jingjing's target had always been Black Dress. The sudden attack just now was just a feint. Not only could it disrupt her rhythm, but it could also attract Black Dress over. It was indeed a good plan. Seeing that Han Jingjing was about to face Black Shirt again, Hunting Bao could only try her best to shoot an arrow in an attempt to interfere with Han Jingjing's movement. Unfortunately, this arrow did not even touch Han Jingjing's shadow. When two enemies meet on a narrow path, the courageous wins. As a veteran spirit hunter, Blackshirt was very clear of this principle. Therefore, when he realized that he had fallen into a trap, he did not have the slightest intention of retreating. Instead, he stimulated all his potential and fiercely stabbed his cross blade towards Han Jingjing's forehead. Out of all the methods of attack, stabbing in a straight line was the fastest and closest. Furthermore, both of them were approaching each other at the same time. Blackshirt even had the illusion that Han Jingjing had placed her forehead on the cross blade's tip. Then, He realized that it was just an illusion. Han Jingjing left him an unfathomable smile, and then disappeared in an instant. Whether it was the stab from the cross blade or the arrow from the composite bow, none of them touched Han Jingjing at all. This was because Han Jingjing had already moved to the side of Black-Clothed. She casually kicked out and hit Black-Clothed's leg. No matter how strong a body was, there would always be a weakness. For example, the bend of the leg. He, who was rushing over at full speed, did not expect that he would be kicked by Han Jingjing in this place. Before he could fully exert his strength, his kneecap was broken by a huge force. To be more precise, half of it was his own strength. Because of the sudden change, his own strength was folded, and he broke one of his legs. The black-clothed man, who had lost his center of gravity, tumbled to the side like a galloping horse, making a loud noise. His cross blade, in particular, finally broke free of his control. Han Jingjing did not stop at all. She passed by He and burst forth with her full speed, rushing towards Hunting Bao's position like lightning. Although Han Jingjing's speed was fast, she had held back at least 30% of her strength. Hunting Bao was completely unprepared for this sudden burst of speed. After all, she felt that Han Jingjing's previous dodging movements were already her limit. This time, Hunting Bao did not even have time to shoot another arrow. Han Jingjing had already appeared in front of her. In a moment of desperation, Hunting Bao directly used the composite bow as a weapon. She waved it and smashed it towards Han Jingjing. However, after getting close to Han Jingjing, Hunting Bao was indeed a weak chicken. Han Jingjing casually reached out and grabbed Hunting Bao's wrist that was holding the composite bow. With a little force, Hunting Bao's wrist was broken. Hunting Bao let out a soft groan. She could not bear the pain. Her body leaned back, revealing her hot body wrapped in leather. Unfortunately, Han Jingjing was not a man. Of course, she had no interest in this scene. "Who are you people? Why did you sneak attack me?" Han Jingjing asked coldly. Hunting Bao's broken wrist was still in her grasp. Because Han Jingjing was still pushing and pulling, Hunting Bao was already kneeling on the ground on one knee. Her body leaned back a lot, as if she was pulling a fully drawn bow. "I'm sorry we were wrong. Please forgive us this once." Hunting Bao's beautiful eyes were about to tear up. She could not be bothered to answer the question and immediately began to beg for mercy. He, who was lying on the ground, could not get up for a moment. Her face was pale and cold sweat flowed down. She looked at Han Jingjing with a look of extreme reverence. Towards Hunting Bao's begging, she immediately acquiesced. Although Han Jingjing seemed to be busy going back and forth, the three of them had actually exchanged blows in an instant. At most, it had only been a few seconds before the entire battle was over. "Answer the question, don't talk nonsense." Han Jingjing pushed back again and said coldly. Hunting Bao snorted again and hurriedly replied, "The two of us are spirit hunters, and we specialize in finding spirits that wander between heaven and earth. Many of them are evil spirits and vengeful spirits. After killing them, we collect the purest soul energy in exchange for rewards. This time we were blind and wanted to kill you, but in the end we offended you. Please let us go. I still have some collected soul power here. I am willing to give it to you as a token of apology. Let me see. Don't play tricks. Although Han Jingjing did not know what soul power was, she did not reveal it. She directly asked Hunting Bao for soul power to see. Of course, Hunting Bao did not dare to play any tricks. If their strengths were similar, she would have the thought of resisting and looking for an opportunity to escape. But now, she did not have such thoughts at all. She only hoped that she could smoothly exchange her life for Han Jingjing's. Her other unrestrained hand quickly took out a jade bottle from a small pouch on her waist. She handed it to Han Jingjing and said, "This is my soul gathering bottle. All the collected soul power is in here." Han Jingjing extended her hand and took it. She released her divine sense and scanned it. There did not seem to be any mechanism. Furthermore, when her divine sense entered the jade bottle, Han Jingjing felt that her primordial spirit was incomparably comfortable. Her thoughts were also much clearer. It seemed like this was really a good thing. Chapter 57:47. Letting go of Hunting Bao's broken wrist. Han Jingjing didn't have the intention to kill them. She flashed to Blackshirt's side and looked at him with a smile. Blackshirt sighed. He knew that he had suffered a great loss today, but who asked them to come to him? Now, if he wanted to live, he could only beg for Han Jingjing's forgiveness. Without saying much, Blackshirt also took out his soul collection bottle and gave it to Han Jingjing. Han Jingjing didn't know how much soul power was in these two bottles, but it was at least half. Her intuition told her that these two bottles of soul power would definitely be helpful to Lin Yi's current situation. "I'll give you these soul power. Is this the end of the matter between us?" Blackshirt asked gloomily. Although the small bottle was only the size of a thumb and it was still half full, if these things were sold, they could be exchanged for millions of euros. Now that they were given to Han Jingjing for nothing, it would be strange if he was in a good mood. Han Jingjing glanced at Blackshirt faintly. Her divine sense scanned the small bag of Hunting Bao and him twice. After confirming that they didn't have any extra soul power, she didn't say anything more. "How do I use this thing?" Han Jingjing asked casually. Although she could roughly deduce it, it was better to be safe since it was related to Lin Yi. If these two dared to lie and harm Lin Yi, Han Jingjing didn't mind coming to Europe to turn them upside down and kill them. Blackshirt said straightforwardly, "It's more complicated for ordinary people, but there's no taboo for a soul body like you. As long as you come into contact with it, you can absorb the soul power to strengthen your own soul. Many evil spirits and resentful spirits actually need to strengthen their soul power to constantly kill people. Have you deliberately killed people and then extracted the soul power of the living after they died?" Han Jingjing suddenly asked. If these two people did the same, they were no different from evil spirits. Blackshirt shouted angrily, "We are noble spirit hunters. How could we do such a despicable thing? You should apologize to us for your ignorant words and deeds." Blackshirt. Hunting Bao walked over slowly and quickly interrupted him when he heard this. This guy really dared to say anything. Didn't he know that their lives were in the hands of others? If Han Jingjing became angry because of this, wouldn't all that soul power be wasted? Hey, he also realized that he was impulsive. He laughed dryly and said, "Forget it. Since you don't know these things, I can't blame you. Remember not to say such things casually in the future." If Lin Yi was here, he might have started interrogating if there was any more soul power. Lin Yi was never polite to people who offended him first. However, Han Jingjing's personality was much kinder, so she didn't continue to question him. Of course, Han Jingjing was also wondering if she had more soul power. If the soul power she had wasn't enough for Lin Yi, she would definitely come back to search for more. Therefore, she wouldn't kill these two people, but it was necessary to leave some marks. Han Jingjing quietly placed two secret divine sense imprints on Black Cloak and Hunting Bao's bodies. This was one of her few methods, and she had only figured it out because of her research needs. With these two divine sense imprints, she could find the two of them at any time if she needed them. If she didn't need them, it didn't matter if she never met them. "Do you have a car?" There weren't many people in this small town. Moreover, it was working hours during the day, so there were very few people here. However, the commotion from their fight wasn't small. Han Jingjing already wanted to leave. In addition, the power behind Johansson was also looking for Han Jingjing. If she wanted to avoid trouble, she couldn't waste any more time. Hunting Bao hurriedly nodded and said, "We do, but we only have one car. If you want to go somewhere, can we send you there?" It was clear that Hunting Bao didn't want to give Han Jingjing another car for free. Moreover, sending her to the place she wanted to go might allow her to better understand Han Jingjing's background. "Okay, hurry up and drive the car over." Han Jingjing was well aware of Hunting Bao's thoughts and didn't bother to expose her. It was more important to leave this place as soon as possible. Seeing the injury on Hunting Bao's hand, Han Jingjing reached out and grabbed her hand, startling her. "Let me treat you. Don't move," Han Jingjing said faintly. She directly twisted and closed Hunting Bao's wrist. Originally, she was being merciful. She didn't really break Hunting Bao's bones. It was just a dislocation. After restoring it, it was more than half healed. As for the injury on Black Cloak's leg, it was slightly more serious. Fortunately, it didn't affect his movements. Since they were going to take a car, it didn't matter. Soon, Hunting Bao drove an ordinary car. After Han Jingjing and Black Cloak got in, they left Ostal and drove in the direction of Blue Rice. On the road out of the town, there were some people in black suits checking the leaving cars. However, when they saw Black Cloak and Hunting Bao's car, they didn't stop them at all. It seemed that the status of spirit hunters in Europe was quite distinguished. Along the way, Han Jingjing didn't have the mood to talk. She was thinking about Lin Yi. Han Jingjing didn't say anything. Black Cloak and Hunting Bao didn't dare to say anything. They just sat in the front, quietly. When the car entered the center of Blue Rice City, the two suddenly realized that Han Jingjing was no longer in the back seat. They weren't surprised about this. It was a very normal thing for a spirit body to be able to do this. Han Jingjing didn't want them to know that she was going to find Su Shirhan and Cheng Yi, so she left without saying goodbye. At this time, the sky was getting dark. The concert was about to start. Han Jingjing sneaked into the venue and went to the backstage to find Su Shirhan. She should have called first, but Johansson's phone was already thrown away by Han Jingjing. As for Black Cloak and Hunting Bao, Han Jingjing wouldn't borrow their phones. Since she was already here, she might as well go and find them. The fans of Blue Rice were very passionate. They didn't complain because of what happened last time. On the contrary, they were even more popular than last time. Han Jingjing just wanted to say that the population of Europe was actually quite big. After a few turns, she came to the backstage. Cheng Yi was talking to Su Shirhan, Shiji. "Why isn't Han Jingjing here yet? I can't contact her. If she doesn't come after the concert, we should go back together." Chapter 5748. I also want to go back and see Lin Yi. He's like this because of me, Cheng Yi said with self-blame. She really missed Lin Yi. Unfortunately, the schedule was arranged before she was kidnapped. She couldn't do anything about the concert, so Cheng Yi could only complete it first. "Don't say that. If you say that, Lin, you won't be happy." Okay, let's not talk anymore. I'll get people to prepare the flight first," Su Shirhan said softly and then changed the topic. Su Shirhan said gently and then changed the topic. In fact, everything on the private plane was prepared in advance. As long as she said a word, it could take off at any time. Han Jingjing heard this and directly appeared in the room. She said happily, "Su Shirhan, Cheng Yi, I'm very happy to see you guys, but I'm in a hurry. I won't be attending Cheng Yi's concert." "Su Shirhan, are you leaving now?" "Ah." Su Shirhan and Cheng Yi both screamed and subconsciously wanted to attack. A person suddenly appeared in a closed room. Anyone would be shocked. Not to mention, both of them were focused on Lin Yi. "Han Jingjing, it's you. You scared me to death." Su Shirhan and Cheng Yi calmed down after seeing who it was and stopped their attack. After greeting each other, Su Shirhan didn't even bother to go on stage. She directly nodded to Cheng Yi as a farewell and then pulled Han Jingjing to the rooftop of the stadium. There was a small helicopter waiting for them. After the transfer to the airport, the private jet was already waiting for them to fly across the country. Su Shirhan's private plane quickly took off from Lanmi. Han Jingjing suddenly remembered that she still had some things to bring in Beijing. So the destination was changed to Beijing City. Originally, Han Jingjing didn't want to go back to the Lu family. However, since she had to get something, she would go over and take a look when she had time. After all, she was also a member of the Lu family. It would be good to go back and take a look. Although Su Shirhan wanted to see Lin Yi as soon as possible. But since Han Jingjing said that the thing in Beijing was related to saving Lin Yi, of course, she wouldn't object. However, she didn't plan to go with Han Jingjing to the Lu family. It wasn't suitable for her to go with them. Since she had decided to go back, Han Jingjing informed House Lu beforehand. So when the plane landed, the two most important figures of House Lu, Lu Tianyi and Lu Tianli, came to pick her up personally. There was also the pillar of the younger generation, Han Jingjing's brother Lu Xiaoqiao. Uncle, Dad, and little Chow, why are you all here? Seeing that her family had come to pick her up, Han Jingjing was naturally very happy, and a sincere smile appeared on her face. Jingjing, it's been a while since we've seen you. Of course, we had to come see you as soon as we heard you were coming back. Tianyi said with a bright smile as he walked up to Han Jingjing and gave her a light hug. Lu Tianyi knew very well that if it wasn't for Han Jingjing's foresight, House Lu might not have been able to get on Lin Yi's ship. When Lin Yi's trust in House Lu was in crisis, and the whole House Lu might be destroyed, it was Han Jingjing who turned the tide and protected House Lu's foundation. So towards this niece of his, Han Jingjing, Lu Tianyi really liked her. It wasn't strange for him to come and pick her up personally. Thank you, uncle. Han Jingjing returned to the image of a wise and strong woman in front of House Lu. She let go of Lu Tianyi and looked at her father. Lu Tianli's eyes were filled with excitement and pride. This was his daughter. Although he had done something to tarnish his daughter's reputation, it couldn't change the blood connection between father and daughter. Father! Han Jingjing walked up with a smile and hugged Tianli. Seeing Tianli's spirit, Han Jingjing knew that he had truly turned over a new leaf, and this made her very happy. Jingjing, Daddy missed you a lot. Tianli hugged Han Jingjing, his eyes reddening. After all, this was his daughter, and he wouldn't be able to see her for a few years. It would be a lie to say that he didn't miss her. Daddy, Jingjing missed you too. Han Jingjing's eyes reddened as well. The person she worried about the most in the common world was her father. Luckily, Tianli was doing well this time, and it made her feel much better. Sis, there's still me. Lu Xiaoqiao giggled as he pointed at himself and opened his arms. Han Jingjing, of course, gave him a big hug as well. She smiled. Xiaoqiao, you're finally not that nerdy otaku anymore. I can finally relax. Otherwise, I'll be worried that you won't be able to find a wife if you're always like that. This was, of course, a joke. Lu Xiaoqiao was handsome and knowledgeable. But even if he was ugly and deformed, as long as he had the halo of being the young master of House Lu, the number of women who wanted to marry him would be enough to line up from the Lu house's gate to the suburbs of Yanjing. The family chatted for a bit before getting into the car. Lu Xiaoqiao drove himself, and Lu Tianyi and Lu Tianli talked with Han Jingjing. This was definitely a treatment that only a minister or above could enjoy. Grandpa, how's your body? Han Jingjing asked about Elder Lu and learned that the old man was in good health, but he didn't care about politics anymore. He wasn't in Yanjing at the moment, either, but had gone to the south to recuperate. Lu Tianyi and the other juniors would make time to visit him every week, so the old man wouldn't feel lonely. Han Jingjing nodded, so Grandpa went to the south. Then let's not go home. Let's go to the company. I need to get some stuff, and then we'll go to Song's Han. So urgent? Lu Tianli said, surprised. His daughter rarely came back for a few years, and he didn't want to miss this reunion. Yeah, some things are more urgent. I'll come back after I'm done. Han Jingjing guessed that House Lu didn't know about Lin Yi's coma yet, so she didn't say it out loud. Lin Yi had enemies in the common world, and it wouldn't do Lin Yi any good if the news got out. Han Jingjing, of course, knew the gravity of the situation. Are you going to find brother-in-law? He came here once before. Lu Xiaoqiao didn't turn back, but his guess was pretty close. Han Jingjing's heart warmed. Lin Yi still remembered to visit House Lu for her, which meant that he had a place in his heart. She wanted to go back to Songshan to see Lin Yi as soon as possible. Chapter 5749. If Han Jingjing was going to look for Lin Yi, then Tianli wouldn't have a problem. Thinking of Fan Jian, he wanted to plead for him. Han Jingjing frowned. Of course, she knew who Fan Jian was. In fact, she didn't have much of a good impression of this cousin of hers. He was just a spoiled brat, trying to distance himself from House Lu before even asking for their help when House Lu was in trouble. Now that House Lu was rich, he was rushing to help them. This type of person would never be welcomed anywhere. Dad, why did you bring him up? Han Jingjing asked curiously. It was rare for the family to get together, and bringing up someone like this would only waste time and affect their mood. Tianli laughed. He's your cousin, after all. He seemed to have offended Lin Yi before. If there's a chance, you should apologize for him in front of Lin Yi. It's not a big deal, it's all for your mom's sake. Lu Xiaoqiao, who was driving, curled his lips in disdain. If it weren't for his sister, he would have beaten that Fan Jian up. But since Tianli was talking, he didn't want to interrupt. Han Jingjing couldn't be bothered to ask how Fan Jian offended Lin Yi. With Lin Yi's level, there was no way he would care about a small fry like this. Even Han Jingjing herself didn't care about this Fan Jian. All right, I'll mention it when there's a chance, Han Jingjing said, half-heartedly. The main thing right now was to wake up Lin Yi. As for Fan Jian, she'll think about it when he remembers. Tianli didn't really care about Fan Jian either. If it weren't for the fact that Fan Jian had come to him crying and begging for mercy, he wouldn't have mentioned this guy when he saw his daughter. Offended Lin Yi? Even if Lin Yi was his son-in-law, he wouldn't dare to offend him at all. Fan Jian was the one who did this to himself, so who could he blame? Soon, the car arrived at the Lu Group's skyscraper. It was already night, but the most important people of House Lu were already here. The employees who had been notified were naturally waiting respectfully in the parking lot. Han Jingjing didn't mind at all as she waved her hand to dismiss them. She then took the elevator to the top floor. Her office was still the same. In the beginning, this was Tianli's office, and after she took it over, it became hers. It was precisely because of this that Tianli had the chance to steal the information from the safe. But after Han Jingjing handed the company back to Tianli, this place was left empty by Tianli. Other than cleaning work, no one was allowed to enter. As for Lu Tianli himself, he found another room to use as his office, and so when Han Jingjing came in, she realized that it was exactly the same as before. Even the position of the furniture on the desk was exactly the same. Jingjing, I always thought that you would come back to take over the company, but I also know that you don't care about our family business at all right now, and you don't have the time to take care of the company either. But I'll always keep your office. You can come back and use it whenever you want. Tianli said with a smile after following Han Jingjing in. Han Jingjing was a little touched. She smiled. Thank you, Dad. In that case, I still have some of my old trinkets. Of course, none of them have been touched. I'll break the hands of whoever dares to take them. Tianli laughed. Han Jingjing didn't waste any time. She went into the room and opened the safe. There weren't any important documents related to the company in here, since she'd handed them all over to Tianli. What was left were the instruments and tools that Han Jingjing used for her research. Han Jingjing didn't bring anything other than a soft armor back from Sky Island. If she wanted to wake up Lin Yi, these things would be very useful. She could go by them at the last minute, but things that she was used to would be more convenient. There were also some things that should be in the villa beside the school, but the things there were more or less the same. It wasn't as comprehensive as this place, so there was no need for her to come back. All right, I've got everything I need. I just wanted to come back to see you guys. Since you're all here, I don't need to go home. I'll come back to see you guys after I'm done with my business in Songshan. Han Jingjing was also very straightforward. She was ready to go back to the airport as soon as she got her things. They didn't know what happened in Songshan, but seeing how hurried Han Jingjing was, Lu Tianyi and the others couldn't really say anything. It was something that concerned Lin Yi, and no matter how small it was still a big deal. They all knew that. Jingjing, why don't I go with you? Maybe I can be of some help? Lu Tianyi asked after some thought. No matter what, going to Songshan wasn't a bad thing. Han Jingjing shook her head. No need, you guys can't help much anyways. Let's talk about it when I come back. All right, you guys don't need to send me to the airport. Just get someone to drive me. Sis, I'll be your chauffeur today. Lu Xiaoqiao said with a smile. Ever since he was young, Han Jingjing was the closest to him. Naturally, Han Jingjing wouldn't reject him. She nodded in agreement. Lu Tianyi and Lu Tianli didn't want to be separated from Han Jingjing just like that, and so they decided to go with her. Han Jingjing's words were wasted. Lin Yi had told them about Han Jingjing's situation on Tianjia Island, but it was better for Han Jingjing to tell them personally than Lin Yi. And so, the way back to the airport became Han Jingjing's Tianjia Island trip report. Su Sherhan's private plane landed in Donghai City at dawn, and Kong Xiaobo sent a car to pick her up and send her straight to Songshan. Luckily, Su Sherhan's itinerary was kept secret. If her fans knew about it, they'd probably be stuck in the airport for half a day. When they arrived at Songshan's villa, Kong Xiaobo, Lai Changyi, Sun Jingyi, and the others were all waiting in the living room. Seeing Han Jingjing, of course, they greeted her passionately. Whether or not Lin Yi could wake up depended on Han Jingjing. They were all acquaintances, so there was no need to be polite. I'll go check on Lin Yi Gij first. We'll talk later, Han Jingjing said with a smile as she carried her suitcase. Chapter 5750. In fact, those who were in this villa were the closest people to Lin Yi. There was really no need to be too particular. Han Jingjing didn't waste any more time and quickly went upstairs to Lin Yi's room. Lin Yi's primordial spirit lying on the bed didn't seem to have any abnormalities on the surface. If it wasn't for the difference in the room, it would look exactly the same as Lin Yi's body on Heaven Island. Even the posture was exactly the same. Big brother Lin Yi, Jingjing, is here. Han Jingjing rushed to the bed and put down the box in her hand. She reached out and held Lin Yi's hand and said firmly, Big brother Lin Yi, don't worry. Jingjing will definitely wake you up. Su Sherhan was the second to come in. She was also very worried about Lin Yi, but seeing Han Jingjing's expression, she was too embarrassed to do the same. She could only stand by the door and watch without saying anything. She didn't continue to enter the room, and the people behind her also stopped. After Han Jingjing finished speaking, she let go of Lin Yi's hand and turned around to open the box. She took out all the tools and instruments inside one by one. Jingjing, what are you doing? Su Sherhan couldn't help but ask. In fact, she wanted to ask more about Lin Yi's situation. It was just that Han Jingjing didn't seem to be doing any checks, so she didn't ask. Han Jingjing continued to put things out and said without turning her head, I just took a look. There is nothing wrong with Lin Yi's primordial spirit. Although it suffered a lot of damage, it only made Lin Yi's primordial spirit a little weaker. It shouldn't be like this. What is going on? I need to do a more detailed check. As she spoke, Han Jingjing had already started to dismantle some of the instruments and reassembled them into new ones. She also asked Kong Xiaobo to bring all the laptops, TVs, and phones in the villa for her to temporarily use as peripherals. The entire room was quickly filled with scattered components, and around Lin Yi's bed, there were 6 new pillar-shaped electronic devices. It looked a little ugly, but the people at the door didn't understand it, but they thought it was awesome. When Han Jingjing made these things, they made a lot of noise, but no one thought there was a problem. If the noise could wake up Lin Yi, they didn't mind setting off firecrackers in Lin Yi's ears all day. When the 6 electronic devices were finally connected by Han Jingjing, some messy lines began to appear on her laptop. Han Jingjing's face was slightly happy, as if she was very satisfied with the appearance of these lines. Other than Han Jingjing, no one else could understand what these lines meant. They were afraid of disturbing Han Jingjing, so they didn't dare to ask questions. They just watched quietly as Jingjing quickly typed in lines of commands on her laptop. 10 minutes later, Han Jingjing frowned and muttered, "How strange. How could such a situation happen?" Su Shirhan immediately asked, "Jingjing, what did you find out? How is it?" Han Jingjing scratched her head and showed a cute expression. "I'm not too sure. Lin Yi's situation is not easy to describe, so it's a little strange." Everyone was going crazy. Didn't that mean she didn't say anything? How strange was it? Why was it not easy to describe? Han Jingjing seemed to feel that it was not appropriate for her to say this, so she thought about it and continued. "Let's put it this way. Lin Yi's primordial spirit indeed suffered a very serious injury. His primordial spirit's divine sense energy is continuously flowing out, but the speed is not fast. If there is no replenishment, it can still last for about a year, and after a year, it will probably completely dissipate." Su Shirhan and Sun Jingyi's face paled. What was so strange about this situation? They should quickly think of a way to save Lin Yi. "Jingjing, is there any way to stop this energy from flowing out? Not to mention a year, even if it's just a month, the damage to Lin Yi is very big, right?" Sun Jingyi was born in a medical family, so she was very sensitive to this aspect. Han Jingjing said that Lin Yi can last for a year before it completely dissipates, which means that with each passing day, Lin Yi's injuries would worsen. A month was already very scary. Han Jingjing nodded. "This is the strange part. Lin Yi's primordial spirit is losing energy, but on the other hand, there is energy coming in to replenish it. It feels like Lin Yi is cultivating on his own, but the effect isn't very good, just barely enough to keep up with the consumption." Sun Jingyi breathed a sigh of relief. This Han Jingjing was panting while talking. It really scared her. Then, could it be that Lin Yi's cultivation isn't enough to make up for the loss of energy, so he can't wake up? Didn't he have experience in self-healing before? Maybe it's the same this time. Su Shirhan guessed uncertainly, but there was a hint of truth in it. "Maybe so," Han Jingjing said casually. Only she understood that Lin Yi's primordial spirit was different from his physical injuries. His magical qi might not be of much help to the primordial spirit's injuries. But Su Shirhan's words gave Han Jingjing some ideas. Since Lin Yi's energy loss and replenishment were in a balanced state, maybe increasing the replenishment would give Lin Yi a higher chance of waking up. As for how to increase Lin Yi's energy replenishment, Han Jingjing also had a plan. She prepared 6 cylindrical electrical appliances. After some slight changes, she could form a device similar to a spirit gathering array. But this device didn't gather spiritual qi, but soul power. This was the inspiration from the 2 European spirit hunters. Since there were countless people dying every day in this world, the soul power left behind by their souls before they disappeared, if no one collected it, it would drift between heaven and earth, and after a long time, it would completely disappear. Since this was the case, why not make a device to collect this soul power for Lin Yi's use? A genius like Han Jingjing, of course, wouldn't be like the European spirit hunters, using weapons to fight with souls to collect soul power. She had 2 soul-gathering bottles. Using this as the foundation, it was very easy to make a device similar to a spirit-gathering array. Chapter 57-51. The amount of soul power in the 2 soul-gathering bottles added up was a little more than a whole bottle. They weren't sure if it was an illusion, but everyone felt that Lin Yi's primordial spirit seemed to have solidified a little. It should be the effect of the soul power. Han Jingjing felt it for a moment, and her heart was a lot more assured. She immediately started to modify the equipment, and very quickly, with the 2 soul-gathering bottles as the core, she completed the special spirit gathering formation. Although there wasn't a lot of soul power floating around in Songshan City, these strands were equivalent to the last straw that broke the camel's back. It directly broke the balance of consumption and replenishment for Lin Yi, and the balance began to tilt in the direction that was advantageous to Lin Yi. Han Jingjing secretly let out a sigh of relief. This method was really effective, and there was also an unexpected harvest. The dissipated energy from Lin Yi's primordial spirit was mostly recovered by the spirit gathering formation, and once again became replenishment for Lin Yi. This was equivalent to forming a virtuous cycle, and the effect was even more powerful. If this was the reason why Lin Yi was unconscious, he would probably wake up soon. If it was someone with a wicked heart, they might have started a massacre in Songshan City and seized the opportunity to collect soul power. But Han Jingjing never had such a thought, so she didn't think that she had made such a terrifying device. If the evil cultivators on Heavenly Island found out about it, it would definitely cause a huge storm of blood. In the space of the jade, Lin Yi suddenly opened his eyes in surprise. He suddenly felt that his primordial spirit's cultivation speed suddenly increased. He didn't know what happened, but this change was quite gratifying. Not only that, Lin Yi also felt that the space of the jade seemed to have a trace of energy that was beneficial to the primordial spirit's cultivation. And this wasn't the original spiritual energy in the space of the jade. Jiao Lao, what's going on? Could it be that the space of the jade has changed? With that mutated dragon, Linguza, following him all day, it was no wonder that Lin Yi's first thought was that the space of the jade had changed. The result was naturally a merciless laugh from Jiao Yazi. Kid, did you become stupid from cultivating? Even if you changed, the space of the jade can't change. Don't think about those useless things, hurry up and cultivate. Actually, Jiao Yazi knew that the extra energy was soul power, but he didn't point it out to Lin Yi, because Jiao Yazi didn't know where the soul power came from. Since Lin Yi's consciousness couldn't go out, Jiao Yazi also couldn't investigate the situation outside. Soul power was the power of a person's soul. It would only leak out after a person died. A normal person could only have a small amount of soul power. Don't look at the small amount that entered the space of the jade. It was at least a dozen people's worth of soul power. Because he knew this, Jiao Yazi purposely hid it. The most important thing now was to connect Lin Yi's primordial spirit with the primordial spirit in the outside world. Everything else wasn't important. It didn't matter if someone was trying to save Lin Yi, since Jiao Yazi couldn't do anything to stop it. He just needed to let Lin Yi cultivate without any burden. At the same time, in the second central base in the outskirts of Songshan, a naked woman floated in a giant glass culture tank. Her head was connected to hundreds of tiny wires, hidden in her long hair. It was almost impossible to see if one didn't pay attention. Jiang Wen, Kong Xiaolong, and the others were all here. Their eyes wandered around the perfect body of the woman, but they didn't dare to show any perverted expressions. The woman's name was Lan Xiaoru, and there were surveillance cameras everywhere in the base. It wouldn't be good if Lan Xiaoru came looking for trouble. Memory implantation complete. Clone body fusion complete. Activated. A stiff electronic voice announced emotionlessly. Following that, the tiny wires left Lan Xiaoru's head, and the culture fluid in the culture tank was slowly emptied. When the water level was lower than Lan Xiaoru's head, she slowly opened her eyes. Her beautiful eyes flashed with a trace of confusion, but it quickly cleared up. Evidently, the fusion of memories had worked, and she was completely awake. As the water level dropped, Lan Xiaoru's body slowly stabilized on the ground. The glass culture tank's sealed door silently sprang open, and Lan Xiaoru walked out confidently, without the slightest shyness or concealment. The first thing Lan Xiaoru said when she walked out wasn't asking for clothes. she asked coldly. Is Linny dead? Jiang Wen waved his hand, and the two girls on the side immediately put the clothes on Lan Xiru. Jiang Wen bowed and said respectfully, Respected Miss Lan, congratulations on your new life. I'm just a clone. What new life can I have? Are you cursing my original body to die? Lan Xiaoru glanced at Jiang Wen coldly and humphed. Is Linny dead or not? Jiang Wen didn't expect his flattery to backfire, but he didn't dare to show any dissatisfaction. Lan Xiaoru was a clone, and her identity was far superior to his, the person in charge of Base 2. He could only continue smiling. Miss Lan is immortal, my bad. Lin Yi hasn't appeared since the explosion, but Cheng Yi is still holding a concert. I don't think he'll die that easily. Lan Xiaoru looked at the clothes she was wearing. She seemed to be satisfied with Jiang Wen's preparation, but she didn't like his report. It's been so many days. Don't you know how to investigate? What estimate? If Cheng Yi is in the mood to hold a concert, then Lin, you will be fine. Go find out where he is now. Lan Xiaoru stood in front of Jiang Wen and ordered in an extremely domineering manner. She had to get rid of Lin Yi no matter what. This kind of opportunity wouldn't come by often. Yes, actually, I've already arranged for people to investigate Lin Yi's whereabouts. It's just that I've been focusing on reviving you these days, so I've neglected it. I'm sorry. Jiang Wen lowered his head and apologized. He knew Lan Xiaoru's personality very well. Going against her would never do him any good. As expected, Lan Xiaoru's expression softened a little when she heard Jiang Wen's words. She nodded. Very good, you've done well. From today onwards, Jiang Wen, you're the commander-in-chief of the common world. You'll be in charge of everything. Chapter 57-52. Lan Xiaoru waved her hand and said, I'll leave the matters of the secular world to you. My position is the chief scientific advisor. In the future, I will focus on improving the technological strength of the center of the secular world. So I don't have time to pay attention to these matters. You are a talent, and we have been observing you for a long time. It's time for you to come out and take charge. Naturally, Jiang Wen thanked Lin Yi again and again with a face full of gratitude. But the two of them knew very well that this decision was made because the center's power in the common world had suffered quite a bit from Lin Yi's repeated attacks. There really wasn't anyone other than Jiang Wen who had the qualifications and experience to be the commander of the common world. Lan Xiaoru finished with Jiang Wen and turned to look at Xiaolong. The glasses doctor was killed by that traitor Dafeng, and he didn't leave a DNA sample, so there's no way to clone him. But the glasses doctor is a precious talent of the center, and there's a backup of his memories. I need to raise a young scientist to inherit the doctor's memories. Do you have any suggestions, head commanderin? Xiaolong's heart pounded furiously. Lan Xiaoru was talking to Jiang Wen, but her eyes were on Xiaolong. This wasn't even a hint, it was a blatant statement. He wouldn't be Xiaolong if he didn't get it. Xiaolong had already analyzed the pros and cons of this in a split second. Inheriting the glasses professor's memories would very likely cause him to lose his personality. But if that were the case, Lan Xiaoru wouldn't need to choose Xiaolong at all. She could have just picked a random young man. Since Lan Xiaoru had her eyes on Xiaolong, it was most likely because of his talent. After all, he was a young and promising doctor, and he was known as a genius. Xiaolong guessed that after inheriting the glasses doctor's memories, his personality would still be his, but the memories would be shared by both of them. It wasn't a big deal. On the other hand, Xiaolong would become one of the top figures in the common world. At the very least, he'd be one of the top 3. This was a chance that Xiaolong had been dreaming of. He'd always been jealous of his cousin, Kong Mingming. He was a useless playboy, but why was he able to do so well? He, the prodigy of House Kong, was like an ant. Now that there was a chance, Xiaolong would definitely grab it. Lan Xiaoru didn't say anything, but Xiaolong was already prepared to say yes. Jiang Wen was a smart man, too. He only needed to glance at Lan Xiaoru to know what she was thinking. He smiled and nodded. What a coincidence! I have a suitable candidate here. At the same time, Jiang Wen reached out and pulled Xiaolong over. Miss Lan should know this Xiaolong, right? Originally, he came from the Central Sanctuary. He has the title of Doctor of Medicine, and his IQ is beyond doubt. Besides, he is Kong Ming Ming's brother. Speaking of which, he is one of us. It's a waste of his talent to be my assistant. What do you think, Miss Lan? Here's the chance. Xiaolong looked at Jiang Wen gratefully. He didn't wait for Lan Xiaoru to ask. Miss Lan, I've always respected Dr. Glass's knowledge. If I could inherit his memories and let him use my body to be reborn, that would be my honor. If possible, please give me this chance. Lan Xiaoru smiled and nodded in satisfaction. Very well. I'm very happy that you're willing to make such a request. Dr. Glasses would be very satisfied to have a talent like you as a vessel for his rebirth. Then it's decided. Prepare the memory inheritance immediately. The equipment was ready-made, but only Lan Xiaoru knew the password to open the memory extraction. She had to do it herself. Jiang Wen looked at Xiaolong lying on the metal table, deep in thought. Theoretically speaking, Lan Xiaoru and Dr. Glasses were both immortal existences, but Lan Xiaoru used her own DNA to duplicate a body infinitely. Dr. Glasses, on the other hand, probably didn't want to clone himself because his original body was too weak. He only backed up his memories as a means of rebirth. Now that Jiang Wen was the commander-in-chief of the common world, he had the right to preserve the possibility of rebirth for himself. He was already considering whether he should choose Lan Xiaoru's method or Dr. Glass's method. Suddenly, Jiang Wen had an idea. Perhaps he could combine the two methods and keep a copy of his memories. He wouldn't use a human body as a vessel, but a clone body instead. Of course, this clone body wouldn't be his original body. A clone with no memories at all would be more suitable as a vessel for the memory inheritance. The first name that popped into Jiang Wen's mind was Lin Yi. Jiang Wen hated Lin Yi to the bone, but in his subconscious, he really wanted to be like Lin Yi. If he could get a sample of Lin Yi's DNA and clone it, would he be as strong as Lin Yi? Jiang Wen couldn't stop himself from thinking about it. The more he thought about it, the more feasible it seemed. The only problem was, how could he get a complete copy of Lin Yi's DNA? Of course, problems could always be solved with solutions. With a plan like this, Jiang Wen believed that he could do it. Now that he was the commander-in-chief of the common world, he'd be able to think of a way to solve small problems like this. As Jiang Wen's thoughts ran wild, Xiaolong successfully inherited the doctor's memories and sat up with his hands on his messy head. Lan Xiaoru stood in front of Xiaolong, waiting for him to calm down before smiling. Xiaolong? Or should I keep using Dr. Glasses? Xiaolong put a hand on his forehead and chuckled. Miss Lan, just call me Xiaolong. I've inherited Dr. Glass's memories, but the original name sounds better. Lan Xiaoru nodded with a smile. No problem. If you like Dr. Glasses, you can change it. Xiaolong laughed and thanked Lan Xiaoru. He stood up and waved at Xue Jianfeng, who was sitting in the corner, watching coldly. Xue Jianfeng, how's the fusion? Come here and give me a check. Chapter 57-53. Xiaolong had inherited the Glasses professor's memories, and Xue Jianfeng should have been happy about it. But looking at Xiaolong's annoying face, Xue Jianfeng regretted not killing him at the bottom of the sea. But no matter how unhappy he was, he didn't dare to show it. He walked over obediently. Glasses professor, it's great that you're able to come back to life. My situation seems to be pretty good. Xiaolong frowned. Call me Professor Kong. I know you respect the professor a lot, and I'm indeed the professor's reincarnation. But I hope you remember that I'm Xiaolong now. Do you hear me? Don't let this happen again. Xue Jianfeng was getting more and more pissed off. He was a powerful practitioner at the early stage of mystic ascension, but he was being scolded mercilessly by an ant like Xiaolong. Didn't this idiot know that he could kill him with a single glance? Yes, I hear you. It won't happen again. Xue Jianfeng gave in, feeling extremely wronged. there was still poison in the center of his body. If he could get rid of the poison, he'd never let that bastard Xiaolong go. Xiaolong was satisfied with Xue Jianfeng's attitude. He picked up a scalpel and threw it to Xue Jianfeng. "Make a bigger wound for me." He wanted to cut Xue Jianfeng for fun, but Xue Jianfeng's defense wasn't something anyone could break. Even if Xiaolong used a large knife, he wouldn't be able to leave a mark on Xue Jianfeng's body, much less a scalpel. Xue Jianfeng's eyebrows twitched. He gritted his teeth and grabbed the scalpel. He made a cut on his arm, and a 30-centimeter long cut appeared. It was so deep that the bone could be seen. This guy was really cruel to himself. Xiaolong didn't care about Xue Jianfeng's feelings and expressions. He focused on the wound. Lan Xiaoru and Zhang Wen did the same. They were all looking forward to Xue Jianfeng's self-healing ability. Blood seeped out of the cut quickly, but before it could form, the cut closed at a speed visible to the naked eye. In a short 10 seconds, there wasn't even a scar left on Xue Jianfeng's arm. Only traces of blood proved that there really was a wound. Xiaolong clapped his hands and laughed. It worked. Our Kong family's golden sword medicine is quite amazing. Once this new medicine is mass-produced, we will be able to form an undead army. Xue Jianfeng wiped away the bloodstains on his arm and sneered in his heart. The Kong clan's golden sword medicine was indeed not bad, but he wasn't completely clueless. He had seen the recipe, and the ingredients inside were extremely rare and precious even in the secular world. It was impossible to concoct such a medicine in large quantities. Furthermore, only Xue Jianfeng understood the pain and difficulty of fusing the medicine. Even with his early-stage profound ascension physique, he almost couldn't endure it. Build an undead army? Let's find someone who can withstand the potion's power without dying first. Due to his displeasure towards Xiaolong and Zhang Wen, Xue Jianfeng didn't voice out his thoughts. He maintained his silence. His goal now was to increase his strength and find a chance to get rid of the poison in his body. Then he would be truly free. Let's talk about the army later. Let's discuss the plan to deal with Lin Yi first. If Xue Jianfeng could finish the fusion earlier, perhaps the sacred base wouldn't have been destroyed. But it doesn't matter, it's just a base. As long as we can kill Lin Yi's Yuan Xin, everything will be worth it. Lan Xiaoru couldn't forget about killing Lin Yi. After seeing Xue Jianfeng's performance, she immediately made arrangements to deal with Lin Yi. Zhang Wen quickly found someone to ask about the results of the investigation. Fortunately, there was the latest feedback. As the chief commander, he didn't seem so useless. "Miss Lan, Lin Yi still hasn't appeared. But our people said that there are many people gathered in Lin Yi's villa in Songshan. Perhaps Lin Yi is hiding there to heal. Why don't we just kill them all? Even if Lin Yi isn't here, killing a few of his lackeys would be good too." Zhang Wen suggested passionately. In fact, he wanted to take advantage of the fact that a master like Xue Jianfeng was here to snatch the unconscious Meng Yao. Normally, Zhang Wen wouldn't dare to do this. The lackeys under Lin Yi were very strong. They weren't people he could mess with. But now it was different. He didn't use the power he had. Lan Xiaoru sighed. "Lin Yi hasn't appeared yet. It's very likely that he went back to Sky-class Island. After all, he's just a primordial spirit. If he's injured too heavily, he'll just disintegrate and return. It seems that I'll have to contact the main body on Heaven Island to confirm. Chief Commander, have someone continue to monitor the villa from the outside and then install some monitoring equipment in the surroundings. Keep me updated." "Yes, Miss Lan. I'll give the order right away." Zhang Wen didn't say anything else. He immediately went to inform his men. Lan Xiaoru also sent a letter to Sky-class Island to ask about Lin Yi through the special channel of the center. 1 day later, Sky-class Island replied. They said that after investigation, Lin Yi's main body was still unconscious. This meant that Lin Yi's Yuan Xin hadn't returned. It was still in the common world. It might be because it was injured too badly. After getting the letter, Lan Xiaoru slammed the table excitedly. This is a chance. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. We must seize it. Chief Commander, immediately let your men connect the signal of the surveillance equipment here. We need to carefully observe the situation in this villa. We must make sure that Lin Yi is inside and kill him in one blow. For Lan Xiaoru, Lin Yi was the only one she needed to pay attention to. As for his men and women, they weren't important at all. Before Lin Yi died, she wouldn't touch those people easily. Once Lin Yi died, it would be easy to deal with them. So now Lan Xiaoru must make sure that Lin Yi was in the villa. Then, she would launch a thunderous strike and kill Lin Yi completely. Xue Jianfeng sat on the sofa indifferently, as if nothing had anything to do with him. In fact, if they wanted to investigate the villa, it was a very good plan to let Xue Jianfeng sneak in. However, Lan Xiaoru didn't want to alert the enemy, so she didn't use it. Xue Jianfeng also wouldn't take the initiative to bring it up, although he and the guys in the center had the same position on killing Lin Yi. Chapter 57-54. Lan Xiaoru looked at the small image on the huge display screen, and her hands jumped quickly on the control keyboard. In addition to the normal video surveillance, there were also high-tech surveillance methods, such as thermal imaging, infrared imaging, and so on. They could see every corner of the entire villa clearly. It was a pity that Lin Yi was a spirit body, and these surveillance methods could not find his exact location, so they could not be sure if Lin Yi was really in the villa. Because of this, Lan Xiaoru did not dare to act rashly for a while, for fear that she could not hit the target and give Lin Yi a chance to catch his breath. She did not know that if she attacked now, Lin Yi might really be killed by her, and the hesitation at this critical moment really gave Lin Yi a chance to live. In the villa, Han Jingjing was still waiting by Lin Yi's side, paying attention to the changes on the instrument at all times. What made her feel at ease was that looking at the fluctuations of those lines, Lin Yi's condition was gradually improving. First of all, the speed of energy loss began to slow down after these days of strong replenishment, and the speed of replenishment had further increased. If her guess was right and it went smoothly, Lin Yi would be able to wake up soon, and Han Jingjing's purpose of coming back would basically be considered to have been achieved. At this moment, Han Jingjing found that the technological surveillance array she had set up had captured some strange energy signals, and she immediately operated quickly on the notebook. What is this? Surveillance equipment? In less than 10 seconds, Han Jingjing easily found the source of the trace of energy signal. It turned out to be a thermal imaging instrument not far from the villa. Originally, someone had set up surveillance equipment around the villa, and it should have been discovered by the people in the villa early on. However, these guys used the identity of repairing the network base station as a cover, and they did not arouse the suspicion of Kang Xiaobo and the others. They openly installed all kinds of surveillance equipment around the villa. When it came to combat experience, all the people in this villa added up would not be comparable to Lin Yi. Han Jingjing was also a little speechless. If it were not for this surveillance tool discovering a trace of abnormal energy, she would not have paid attention to what the people outside were doing. I'd like to see who is so concerned about my big brother Lin Yi. Han Jingjing snorted, and immediately began to reverse track on the notebook, trying to find out where the signal was flowing to. Han Jingjing's genius was not only manifested in research and manufacturing various inventions. In fact, she used to be one of the top 5 hackers in the world, and her technical strength was not inferior to the unconscious to Ran. It was just that no one knew her identity, and she only appeared occasionally for fun, so she was not known. Although she had not been in the secular world for a few years, Han Jingjing's skills had not fallen behind. Instead, they had become even more powerful. It was likely that she had set up her own security defenses and cracked the invasions on Heaven Island. For Han Jingjing, this was just a little game for her to relax when she was tired. Hee, I caught you. In less than 3 to 5 minutes, Han Jingjing chuckled proudly. This was much simpler than the security protection she set up herself. Lan Xiaoru did not expect that the surveillance equipment would be tracked by Han Jingjing. In fact, Lan Xiaoru's technical strength was not inferior to Han Jingjing's. But Lan Xiaoru never considered that the people in the villa would discover and track her, so she did not set up too complicated defenses. The few firewalls were set up by Lan Xiaoru out of habit. It was enough for ordinary hackers, but for Han Jingjing it was completely useless. This time, not only did she find the source of the signal, but Han Jingjing also silently followed the video signal and invaded the center system. It was rare for them to open a receiving port. If Han Jingjing did not make good use of it, it would be a waste of their hospitality. Center. I knew it. Let's see where you can run now. The screen in front of Han Jingjing was densely packed with confidential information from the center's central computer. Even Han Jingjing's beautiful big eyes showed a fanatical look. The hard disk space is not enough. Damn it, Han Jingjing muttered and quickly pulled another computer on the side. After connecting it quickly, she continued to copy the center's database. Taking advantage of this time, she also observed Lin Yi's situation. It was still developing in a good direction, so Han Jingjing continued to control the center's central computer. With the highest control authority, Han Jingjing could copy the center's confidential information without any scruples. Originally, she wanted to delete all the information after copying, but doing so was likely to be discovered by the people in the center, so Han Jingjing maintained extreme caution. She only copied it and did not act rashly. Suddenly, the name of a project caught Han Jingjing's attention. Spirit Incinerator. This name was obviously targeted at Brother Lin Yi. How could Han Jingjing let it go? She immediately secretly looked at this file first. To her surprise, the research project was still in progress, and the information was constantly being updated. To put it simply, Han Jingjing was on a live broadcast. Spirit Incinerator was based on the super flame researched by the glasses doctor in the center's sacred. It was a simplified device that made it easier to carry around, but the power of the flame in a unit wouldn't be reduced at all. The glasses doctor's memory had been passed on to Xiaolong, so this project was now under Xiaolong's management. Lan Xiaoru also helped solve some of the problems, which made the research progress quite fast. Han Jingjing was secretly shocked as she watched. Sure enough, she wasn't the only genius in this world. The guy who developed the primordial spirit incinerator was an extremely intelligent existence. Han Jingjing felt that he wasn't much inferior to her. Of course, now wasn't the time to be amazed by the opponent's strength. Seeing that the spirit incinerator was about to be completed, Han Jingjing felt that she should do something, but she didn't know what to do yet. It wasn't that Han Jingjing didn't have a plan, but there was more than one action she could take, and she didn't know which one was the best. Brother Lin Yi, you're really lucky. Luckily, it was Jing Jing who came. If the other sisters came, they wouldn't be able to discover the central plot. Knowing that Lin Yi's condition was improving, Han Jingjing's mood improved as well. She couldn't help but praise Lin Yi. Chapter 57-55. As she spoke, Han Jingjing got busy again. She gathered the scattered parts and started making something. In the second base, Xiaolong and Lan Xiaoru finally completed the simplified version of the super flame, the spirit burner. Now was the time to use it to kill Lin Yi. Xue Jianfeng, install this spirit burner on the flying saucer and go to the villa to kill Lin Yi. Xiaolong said to Xue Jianfeng proudly as he pointed at the spirit burner he had just made. Xue Jianfeng turned to Lan Xiaoru and asked, Miss Lan, have you confirmed that Lin Yi is in the villa? Also, is this thing really effective? If something goes wrong, should I just kill Lin Yi and be done with it? Lan Xiaoru looked at Xue Jianfeng with approval. Not bad. Your question is very good. Our first goal is to kill Lin Yi no matter what. If the spirit burner doesn't work, then we'll have to rely on you to kill Lin Yi's spirit. Remember, don't fail. After a slight pause, Lan Xiaoru continued, As for whether or not Lin Yi is in the villa, I'm not sure yet, but I'm guessing that there's a 90% chance that he is. Just do whatever you want. Xue Jianfeng nodded. I understand. I'll go prepare now. Zhao Long wasn't happy that Xue Jianfeng ignored him. He humphed. Forget it, I'll go with you. I'm the one who made this spirit burner, after all. If anything goes wrong, I'll be able to take care of it. That's good. I'll be more at ease with Professor Kong. Lan Xiaoru nodded. She didn't object to Zhaolong's suggestion. Xue Jianfeng was annoyed. She didn't even trust him for something like this. This Zhaolong was too much. Did he think that just because he inherited Professor Glass's memories, he really became Professor Glasses? However, Xue Jianfeng also knew that he was the one who had the least right to speak, so he didn't say much. He picked up the small cannon-shaped spirit incinerator and turned to leave the room. Zhao Long called out to Lan Xiaoru and Zhang Wen before following them out. He didn't pay much attention to Xue Jianfeng's feelings. He only wanted to go along because of his hatred for Lin Yi. There weren't many chances to kill Lin Yi with his own hands, so Zhao Long wouldn't miss it. The sky was already dark by the time everything was ready. The flying saucer carried Xue Jianfeng and Zhao Long, activating the cloaking device and leaving Songshan's outskirts, flying towards Lin Yi's villa. It wasn't even a minute before it reached Lin Yi's villa. It was a city area, after all, and the speed of the flying saucer was incredibly fast. Xue Jianfeng's divine sense swept over first. This distance wasn't a problem at all. As long as there wasn't any divine sense shielding device, he could see everything in the villa clearly. It was much better than the surveillance devices outside. Lin Yi really is heavily injured. He's lying unconscious in the room on the second floor, Xue Jianfeng said, pleasantly surprised. If he knew it would be so easy, why would he need those surveillance devices? He could have just asked him to take a look around here. However, Xue Jianfeng's divine sense was noticed by Lenguza. Lenguza was much stronger than Xue Jianfeng, and so was his divine sense. Xue Jianfeng's scan was immediately noticed by Lenguza, and he followed up with a scan. Xue Jianfeng's body shook, and he mumbled, I forgot about this guy. Even if Lin Yi's injuries aren't light, this guy isn't easy to deal with. Zhao Long, on the other hand, didn't notice Xue Jianfeng's mumbling. When he heard that Lin Yi was on the second floor of the villa, he laughed evilly. Ha ha ha, the heavens are on my side. That bastard Lin Yi finally has his day. Watch how this young master's primordial spirit incinerator turns him into ashes. Xue Jianfeng wanted to say that there was a mystic late-stage master who had his eyes on them, but when he thought that Lin Yi was about to die, he didn't say it out loud. More importantly, Xue Jianfeng thought that even if he couldn't win against Lenguza, it wouldn't be a problem. After merging with the new recovery potion, his body was almost immortal. Lenguza was strong, but he might not be able to do anything to Xue Jianfeng. If he could use this chance to kill Zhaolong, it would be perfect. Firing the spirit incinerator not only gave him a chance to kill Lin Yi, but it also gave him a chance to kill Zhaolong. This was killing two birds with one stone. Xue Jianfeng wanted to laugh out loud at the thought of it. He should give himself a thumbs up for being so smart. These thoughts flashed through his mind in an instant. Zhaolong didn't know that Xue Jianfeng was planning to get rid of him with a borrowed knife. He was still laughing proudly as he activated the soul burner, aiming for the villa below. A blazing white super flame suddenly descended from the sky. It was as if a small sun had lit up in the night sky, illuminating the entire villa area. Die! Die! Die, all of you! Zhao Long laughed crazily as he pushed the burner's power to the maximum. The white super flame brought with it waves of heat, engulfing the entire villa. Zhang Wen, who was far away in the second base, changed his expression. What's wrong with Xiaolong? Didn't we agree to only kill Lin Yi's soul? Does he intend to kill everyone in this villa with this level of intensity? The super flame did damage to the soul without a doubt. It was obvious from Lin Yi's current situation. But in fact, the super flame didn't only work on the soul. It would burn everything else as well. Judging from the range of the super flames that Xiaolong had unleashed, the entire villa would be completely destroyed in 1 or 2 seconds. Everyone inside, including Lenguza, would probably be burned to ashes. Jiang Wen didn't care about the others, but Meng Yao was in deep slumber as well. This bastard Xiaolong was going to kill Yao Yao as well. But the super flame of the spirit burner had already been unleashed. Even Jiang Wen couldn't stop it now. Killing Lin Yi was something to be happy about, but letting Yao Yao die with him was something he couldn't accept. Chapter 57-56. Just when these people in the center thought that the outcome had been decided, an inconspicuous metal rod that looked like a lightning rod suddenly flashed with a few electric arcs. Then, the blazing white flames that covered the sky seemed to be attracted by the lightning rod. They suddenly changed their direction and gathered on the metal rod. Xiaolong's smile was still on his face when he realized that things weren't as he'd imagined. The villa below was still the same villa, and the super flames from the spirit burner didn't even burn a single feather on the roof, much less Lin Yi inside. "What's going on?" Xiaolong asked, surprised, but no one answered his question. Could it be that it's malfunctioning? That doesn't make sense. Xiaolong subconsciously activated the spirit burner again, and another ball of super flame fell straight down. This time, Xiaolong's eyes were wide open, and he could clearly see the super flame being absorbed by the metal rod. How could this be? Xiaolong was dumbfounded. Strictly speaking, this spirit burner was created by combining his and the glass's professor's intelligence. How could it be useless? Normally speaking, a ball of super flame would be enough to burn the villa below into ashes. Why couldn't it burn a single metal rod after 2 tries? In the villa, Han Jingjing, who'd always had a cute expression on her face, was smiling like a fox. She was just worried about the lack of free soul energy in Song's Han, and Lin Yi's recovery speed was too slow, and this idiot Xiaolong came to her rescue twice in a row. If they hadn't been discovered by the surveillance earlier, they would have been able to kill Lin Yi, but it was unnecessary. Han Jingjing caught them, tracked them back to their location, and took control of the second base's central computer. Xiaolong's spirit burner was no longer a secret to Han Jingjing. After all, she was a super genius who'd invented automatic pill refining and weaponsmithing equipment. The principle behind the spirit burner was laid out clearly in front of her, and if she still couldn't find a way to deal with it, she might as well kill herself with a piece of tofu. The super flame could damage the body, and in other words, it was a type of energy utilization. Han Jingjing created a reverse recycling device for the spirit burner, reversing the damage of the super flame. Xiaolong's 2 consecutive attacks were converted into energy for Lin Yi's body to absorb. It wasn't as effective as pure soul energy, but there was a lot of it, and it should be able to speed up Lin Yi's recovery. Why did you stop? Let's do it a few more times. This little bit of energy isn't enough to wake up Lin Yi, big bro. Xiaolong, go. Don't give up. Go. Han Jingjing stared at the computer screen with a smile, cheering for Xiaolong in the UFO. If she only used the super flame twice, it wouldn't even be enough for her hard work. Another ball of white super flame appeared on the screen, and Han Jingjing couldn't help but exclaim. At least Xiaolong wasn't so scared, or else she'd consider making a simplified spirit burner herself to replenish Lin Yi's energy. In the UFO, Xiaolong screamed hysterically, "Impossible! There's nothing wrong with my work. How could this happen? This doesn't make sense." Amidst Han Jingjing's laughter, she fired the super flame again and again, adding to Lin Yi's recovery. Xue Jianfeng's face was a little ugly. He wanted to use Lenguza to get rid of Xiaolong, but it had been so long, and even the security of the residential area was gathering here. There was no response from the villa at all. Something was wrong, and while he wasn't afraid, he still felt a little guilty. "Xiaolong, don't use your spirit burner anymore. Use the laser cannon to blow up this villa first, and if Lin Yi doesn't die, then use the burner on him." Xue Jianfeng couldn't help but remind Xiaolong, who was already in a dead end. After all, compared to Xiaolong, he wanted to kill Lin Yi more. Xiaolong paused, not minding the disrespect in Xue Jianfeng's tone. He clapped his hands. Makes sense. Xue Jianfeng, you're quite smart, aren't you? Your limbs aren't the only thing you have. Xue Jianfeng wanted to slap this guy to death. If he'd known this guy was like this, he would have thrown him into the sea to feed the fishes when he escaped from the holy center. Xiaolong's back was facing Xue Jianfeng, so he didn't see him grit his teeth. His hands were still moving quickly on the control panel, and under the UFO, the spirit burner's barrel retracted, revealing the laser cannon's barrel. Lan Xiaoru and Zheng Wen were shocked that the super flame didn't work at all, but Xiaolong was getting ready to use the laser cannon. Zheng Wen, who was in the base, finally came back to his senses and yelled into the communicator, "Xiaolong, don't destroy the villa! Lin Yi isn't alone in there. Let Xue Jianfeng go destroy the absorption device." Unfortunately, his words didn't stop Xiaolong. As far as Xiaolong was concerned, anyone who was with Lin Yi should be dead. So he pretended he didn't hear Zhang Wen's call. The muzzle of the laser cannon quickly charged up, and then a white light flashed, and a beam of light fell directly on the villa. The security guards who ran over from afar were all stunned, as if they were watching a sci-fi blockbuster. Because of the laser cannon, the UFO's invisibility had failed, so these people were all thinking, could it be that aliens were invading Earth? Xiaolong's lips curled into a smile. He could already imagine the villa being reduced to rubble, and then the laser cannon would be replaced with the spirit burner, turning everything into ashes with a super flame. But the next moment, Xiaolong was completely dumbfounded. There was a flash of light above the villa, and a U-shaped light shield appeared. After the laser beam entered the shield, it turned around and shot back at the flying saucer. What the hell? Xiaolong was scared out of his wits. The UFO had a protective shield, but Xiaolong didn't even think about getting hit by his laser cannon, so he didn't activate it. Even if he thought about it, he wouldn't be able to activate it in time. Chapter 57:57. Alert! Alert! The UFO is under attack. Heavily damaged. Explode in 30 seconds. The UFO's electronic voice sounded intermittently, judging from the sparks on the hole. It was obvious that the UFO wouldn't be able to hold on much longer. Xiaolong was still in shock and didn't know how to react when he heard the alarm. Xue Jianfeng, on the other hand, was much more clear-headed. Since the UFO was about to explode, it was better for him to leave as soon as possible. The defenses of the villa were obviously prepared for a surprise attack. Since that was the case, Xue Jianfeng didn't want to take the risk. If it was Lin Yi's underlings who weren't prepared, Xue Jianfeng was confident that his sneak attack would work. But with the defenses of the villa so tight, even if he could recover quickly, he wouldn't dare provoke the enemy. Xue Jianfeng looked at Xiaolong, who was still in shock, and opened the door to the UFO's emergency compartment, preparing to escape by himself. As for that idiot Xiaolong, he'd just let him explode with the UFO. But before Xue Jianfeng could leave the UFO, Lan Xiaoru's voice came from the communicator. "Xue Jianfeng, protect Professor Kong and get him out of the UFO. Get him back to the base as soon as possible. Remember, you must ensure Professor Kang's safety." Xue Jianfeng hated himself. He wanted to kill Xiaolong, but he had to force himself to save him. This feeling was more disgusting than swallowing a fly. "Understood. Don't worry, Miss Lan. I'll bring Professor Kong back for sure." Xue Jianfeng gritted his teeth and reluctantly pulled Xiaolong over, jumping out of the emergency hatch. In order to attack the villa, the flying saucer was hovering 100 meters in the air. Xue Jianfeng wouldn't have any problems jumping down from that distance, but Xiaolong would be dead without Xue Jianfeng's help. There was a parachute in the UFO, but there wasn't enough time to open it at 100 meters in the air. That was why Xue Jianfeng was so unwilling. Xue Jianfeng, who jumped out of the hatch, did not land directly. Instead, He used the momentum to glide diagonally. If he landed directly, he would be in the villa where Lin Yi was. Lin Yi had not woken up. But if he was stopped by Lenguza, Shui Jianfeng would not be able to get any benefits. It was better to stay away from them. After gliding in the air for more than 100 meters, the UFO suspended in the air burst into brilliant sparks and directly disintegrated in the air. However, this explosion was not a self-detonation. Instead, it exploded because it was hit by the laser cannon, so the power was not that great. A few larger parts of the UFO fell with a flaming tail. Lenguza's consciousness had been locked onto Shui Jianfeng and Zhaolong the entire time. The moment the two left the flying saucer, he wanted to chase after them. Lenguza had always wanted to kill Shui Jianfeng, who had the scent of a sea beast on him. Unfortunately, Lin Yi didn't agree. This time, Lin Yi was still unconscious, so there was no one to stop him. Lenguza, of course, didn't want to let Shui Jianfeng go. Lenguza, where do you think you're going? It was a pity that Lenguza was stopped by Sun Jingyi, just as he stood up. Sister-in-law, I found an ambush. I'm going to capture them. Lenguza scratched his head. He had a lot of respect for Sun Jingyi. After all, she was his boss, Lin Yi's woman. For Lin Yi's sake, he had to explain. Sun Jingyi shook her head. Lenguza, I want to ask you not to leave the villa. We can't be sure of Lin Yi's condition right now. You're the only one here who can protect him. If you fall into the trap and Lin Yi is in danger, we might not be able to protect Lin Yi with our strength. Lenguza thought about it. Compared to killing the annoying Shui Jianfeng, Lin Yi's safety was obviously more important. So, Lenguza nodded immediately. Sister-in-law, you're right. I was too impulsive. I won't go anywhere today. I'll stay in the villa and see who dares to attack boss. Thank you, Lenguza. Sun Jingyi smiled. Being able to let Lenguza stay here had calmed her down a lot. She couldn't help with Lin Yi's injury at all. But before Lin Yi woke up, she had to do everything she could to protect Lin Yi's safety. There were a few sounds of heavy objects falling to the ground. It was obvious that it was the flying saucer that exploded in the sky. Han Jingjing shouted from upstairs. Sister Jingyi, get someone to bring the flying saucer's pieces in. I need to study them. Then I'll notify the secret investigation department and have them settle this. Don't let anyone know. Okay, I'll arrange it. Sun Jingyi agreed. She asked Du Bing and the others to help move the flying saucer pieces in. The flames on the metal pieces had already disappeared when they hit the ground. Although it was a bit hot, Yu Bing and the others weren't afraid of the heat. They quickly moved the pieces in. As for the security guards that came later, they were sent away by Kong Xiaobo with a random excuse. It couldn't be helped. Kong Xiaobo was a famous figure in Songshan. Even if he was lying, the security guards would believe him. Han Jingjing checked on Lin Yi's condition again. After absorbing the energy from the super flame, Lin Yi seemed to be getting a lot better. Han Jingjing didn't stay here and ran downstairs. As for the flying saucer technology, Han Jingjing had already gotten it from the central mainframe of the base. Now, she only needed to look at the wreckage of the flying saucer to confirm the materials used and the arrangement of the circuits. Then, she would be able to calculate what kind of resources she needed to build a flying saucer. Although she couldn't bring the flying saucer back to Sky-class Island, it was still good to use it in the common world. Plus, after Han Jingjing returned to Sky-class Island, she could build another flying saucer. This thing was much more reliable than flying spirit beasts. It was also very fast. After Han Jingjing modified it, it would be even more perfect. Aya, there's only this much left. What a pity. Han Jingjing ran down and saw the black metal pieces. She had a regretful expression on her face. She didn't think about the person who caused this. After banging on it for a while, Han Jingjing nodded in satisfaction. Good, good. Although it's broken, I've gathered most of the things I wanted. Jingjing, sis-in-law, do you want to build a flying saucer for us too? Kong Xiaobo asked curiously. His eyes were full of expectation. It was a good thing to have a flying saucer to play with. I have this plan, but I'm not sure yet, Han Jingjing said with a smile. Although they had the technology, it wasn't easy to build a flying saucer. While everyone was talking, Lin Yi, who was upstairs, slowly opened his eyes. His consciousness had finally communicated with the Yuan Shen outside from the space of the jade pendant. It was only a matter of time before he woke up. Chapter 57-58. There is such a plan, but I'm not sure yet, Han Jingjing said with a smile. Although the technology was there, it was not so easy to build a flying saucer. Just as everyone was talking, Lin Yi slowly opened his eyes upstairs. His consciousness finally communicated with the Yuan Shen outside from the space of the jade pendant. It was only a matter of time before he woke up. But what were these strange metal rods around him? An array? Who set it up? Lin Yi remembered that he was injured and unconscious after the explosion in the central sacred region. Fortunately, Lenguza had already picked them up at that time, so the safety of others didn't seem to need him to worry. With a sweep of his divine sense, Lin Yi already knew that he was back in the villa in Songshan City. Those who were unconscious continued to sleep well, and the rest were in the living room below, huddled together to study something. Jingjing. Lin Yi was slightly stunned. For a moment, Lin Yi wondered if he had returned to the heavenly island. Otherwise, how could he see Han Jingjing? However, except for Han Jingjing, the rest were in the secular world, and this was indeed the villa in Songshan City. Then there was only one possibility. Han Jingjing also came to the secular world. After carefully sensing, Han Jingjing was indeed a Yuan Shen. This made Lin Yi very surprised. How long had he been unconscious? Could it be that it wasn't 10 days, but more than 10 months? Otherwise, how could Han Jingjing appear here as a Yuan Shen? Was she already a nascent soul master? Jiao Lao, how long did I stay in the space of the jade pendant? Lin Yi asked Jiao Yazi. With his strength, it was not easy to project his Yuan Shen and condense it into a Yuan Shen. With Han Jingjing's cultivation, how could it be easier than him? It's been more than 10 years. Elder Jiao said casually. Lin Yi decided to ignore this old guy. It must be because he didn't think of him much when he returned to the secular world. So now it was a blatant revenge. Since Han Jingjing was here, there was nothing strange about these metal pillars beside Lin Yi's bed. It must be something that Han Jingjing made. Perhaps the energy that he felt in the space of the jade pendant that did not belong to the space of the jade pendant was made by these things. If that was the case, did Han Jingjing come to save him? It was because of Han Jingjing's help that he could improve the speed of spiritual sense cultivation. Thinking about the speed of his spirit's training, Lin Yi was a little excited. The art of stealing fortune was indeed very effective in training his spirit. When he woke up, he found that his spirit's strength had reached the late stage of mystic ascension. At the same time, Lin Yi's body on the island also made a light crackling sound. The true qi in his body was surging. His bones and meridians seemed to be undergoing a slight reorganization. He actually broke through again. Tian Chan, who was guarding on the side, was overjoyed, but she didn't dare to make a sound for fear of disturbing Lin Yi. She just pulled a rope on the side, and the bell connected to the bottom shook rapidly. After hearing it, Sydney also hurried up. When Sydney and Shanghai Laner rushed up, they just saw Lin Yi's body sit up by itself and return to the previous state of cultivation. Great! Jingjing succeeded. I knew she could do it. Shanghai Laner couldn't help but cheer. Lin Yi had returned to the state of cultivation, so Tian Chan was also relieved and didn't stop Shanghai Laner's cheers. Sydney was also excited. She hugged Tian Chan and said, Great! Jingjing really succeeded, and she saved Lin Yi so quickly. She's really amazing. Tian Chan was so happy that her pretty face turned red. She nodded repeatedly and said, Yes, yes. Fortunately, Jingjing went. Otherwise, I don't know how long it would take for Lin Yi to return to his original state. Thinking that she should inform the will of heaven and Okuda state about this matter, Tian Chan suppressed her excitement. She glanced at Lin Yi and hurried down to inform someone. Not to mention that the people on the island were as happy as if they were celebrating a festival when Lin Yi found that Han Jingjing had also returned. He didn't have time to experience the feeling of the profound ascension late stage. He got up and went straight downstairs. Jingjing, how did you come back? As soon as he went downstairs, Lin Yi asked. The people who were looking around the UFO wreckage suddenly turned around in surprise. Big brother Lin Yi, you're awake. Han Jingjing was the first to react. She was also a Yuan Shin. Before Lin Yi spoke, she had already sensed something. So as soon as Lin Yi opened his mouth, she had already cheered and rushed over. On the contrary, Lenguza, a profound ascension late-stage expert, didn't realize that Lin Yi had come downstairs until he heard his voice. Needless to say, no one could find any trace of Lin Yi. Lin Yi smiled and hugged Han Jingjing, who rushed over like a swallow returning to its nest. He waved to everyone and then asked, How did you come back? The Yuan Shin's condensation is very good. Han Jingjing remembered that there were still a lot of people on the side. She suddenly lowered her head shyly, but she was also reluctant to leave Lin Yi's embrace. She just whispered, I researched a soft armor that can emit the aura of nascent soul. It deceived the Yuan Shun projection device, so I was able to return to the secular world. Moreover, this soft armor also came back with my Yuan Shin. My Yuan Shin body is also thanks to this soft armor. Lin Yi was greatly surprised. He never doubted that Han Jingjing was a genius, but he still underestimated the degree of Han Jingjing's genius. He was very clear that the Yuan Shun projection device couldn't bring any physical equipment, but Han Jingjing could still bring the soft armor she researched. This could only explain one problem, that is, Han Jingjing's soft armor could already be regarded as Yuan Shin equipment. For example, Lin Yi's divine bracelet. He was very sure that even if he didn't use the space of the jade pendant to carry it, he could still bring the divine bracelet back when he went back. Lin Yi this time. Thanks to Jingjing coming over, you can wake up. Also, if it weren't for Jingjing, those people from the center would have probably killed us all. Sun Jingyi came up and said with a smile. She was asking for credit for Han Jingjing, but also reminding Lin Yi not to forget the threat from the center. Lin Yi's face turned cold. The center again. Are they not dead yet? It seems that I really have to kill them all. Jingjing, do you have a video? Lin Yi guessed that the center came to find trouble, so Han Jingjing would probably record the whole process. Sure enough, Han Jingjing immediately nodded and said, Yes, big brother Lin Yi, do you want to see it now? Chapter 57-59. Wait a second, Lin Yi bro. I'll get the laptop and play it for you. Han Jingjing didn't wait for Lin Yi's reply and went upstairs. Everyone was watching, and she didn't want to be too intimate with them. Very quickly, Han Jingjing connected the video of the attack to the big TV in the living room. Everyone watched it, and when Lin Yi saw the white super flame, his face turned extremely ugly. This kind of flame was something that even he was afraid of. If Han Jingjing wasn't here to dispel it, everyone in the villa would have been turned into ashes. The people here were the most important to Lin Yi, and the Central's actions were simply urging Lin Yi to kill them as soon as possible. Lin Yi couldn't take it anymore, since the Central was courting death like this. It seemed that he wouldn't be able to go back to Sky Class Island in peace if he didn't get rid of the Central's power in the common world. Xue Jianfeng brought Xiaolong back to the second base just as he was thinking about how to get rid of the Central power. The operation this time was a complete failure, and they almost lost the new professor who had just revived from his inherited memories. In the meeting room, Jiang Wen smiled coldly at Xiaolong. Professor Kong, you're really something. Destroying a flying saucer so easily, you're really something. Xiaolong was a bit embarrassed, not knowing what to say. He understood that Jiang Wen was blaming him for not listening to orders. Meng Yao was in the villa, and Jiang Wen wouldn't allow him to hurt her. Xiaolong being able to inherit the glasses professor's memory was mostly due to Lan Xiaoru's guidance. But Jiang Wen had helped as well. If Jiang Wen had objected, Lan Xiaoru might have given him some face. After all, it was easy to find a scientist's body in the central. Plus, Jiang Wen was the commander of the central base, and Xiaolong acting on his own was already breaking the rules. Lan Xiaoru coughed lightly and tried to smooth things over. This matter is a little strange. Let's put aside the other problems for now and study it together. As he spoke, the screen in the meeting room showed the scene of the flying saucer attacking the villa. First, the super flame fell, and then it was absorbed by the metal rod. The whole process was slowed down 10 times, and because it was shot from the side, it was even clearer than what Xiaolong could see from the flying saucer. After watching the video, Xiaolong's face was already very ugly. When the laser beam was reflected, his face was as black as the bottom of a pot. Miss Lan, our attack is obviously targeted. This situation is too abnormal. I suspect that there is a traitor in the base. Xiaolong said coldly. The doctor was killed by the traitor Dafeng Bro. The memory was still fresh, so Xiaolong immediately thought of the traitor. Lan Xiaoru nodded, but didn't express any opinion. Instead, she turned to Jiang Wen and asked, Commanderin, what do you think? This second base was built single-handedly by Jiang Wen, and Lan Xiaoru didn't know much about it, so she asked for his opinion. Jiang Wen said solemnly, it's not impossible. That bastard Lin Yi likes to get people to be his spies. So I've been very careful in this area. If even this can let the traitor get our secrets, then this traitor must be very powerful. Lan Xiaoru smiled faintly. On the surface, Jiang Wen said it wasn't impossible, but between the lines it was completely impossible. Lan Xiaoru didn't say much and looked at the stilled video again. It was the moment when the laser beam was reflected by the U-shaped shield. Whether or not there is a traitor, it's certain that they have a technological expert. Otherwise, even if we gave them the theory, they wouldn't be able to crack it and create a countermeasure in a short time. Lan Xiaoru's right index finger on the table lightly tapped on the metal surface as she analyzed calmly. Xiaolong heard it and slapped his thigh as if he had thought of something. That's right. That must be it. I remember now. Lin Yi does have a technological expert with him. I think she's called Han Jingjing. Back then, it was this little bitch who made some automatic pill refining equipment for Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company to sell. House Kang's business was ruined, and we almost went bankrupt. If Zhao Ming didn't enter the 5-element sect and go to Sky Island, House Kong would have been gone a long time ago. The technological expert in the villa must be this little bitch. Lan Xiaoru raised an eyebrow and tapped hard on the table. Oh, I know this Han Jingjing, but she should be on Sky Island. It would be strange if she came back. Wait here, I'll contact the main body. Yes, Miss Lan, please go ahead. The three didn't have any objections and sent Lan Xiaoru out of the meeting room. After Lan Xiaoru left, the three in the meeting room didn't like each other, and the atmosphere became awkward. Jiang Wen originally liked Xiaolong a lot, even taking him in as his follower. But after Xiaolong inherited the glasses professor's memories, his status wasn't any lower than Jiang Wen's. Plus, he wanted to kill Meng Yao as well, and even said that there was a spy in the second base. It would be strange if Jiang Wen still treated Xiaolong nicely. As for Xue Jianfeng, Jiang Wen didn't really care about him, and naturally he wouldn't care about him now. Xue Jianfeng knew that he didn't care about Jiang Wen either, let alone Xiaolong, who he wanted to kill but had to save. Xiaolong was in high spirits, and he didn't care about the two's feelings. The three just stared at each other. After a while, they remembered that Lan Xiaoru wouldn't be able to contact Sky Island so quickly. The three didn't say a word and left with a humph at the same time. One day later, Jiang Wen and the others returned to the meeting room and waited for Lan Xiaoru. They still had the same attitude as yesterday. When Lan Xiaoru came in and saw the three's strange behavior, she felt a headache coming on. It was a classic case of people losing their morale, and it was hard to lead the team. Chapter 5760. Xiaolong frowned. There was no information on Han Jingjing in the professor's memories, so he probably didn't pay much attention to her. Xiaolong's own memories, on the other hand, gave him a better understanding of Han Jingjing. I seem to remember that spirit projection requires one to be at least nascent soul level, right? Is that little bitch Han Jingjing that strong already? Miss Lan, you said last time that the spies on Sky Class Island all paid attention to the women around Linyi, and they shouldn't be that strong. Xiaolong rubbed his forehead. The two memories hadn't completely merged yet, so it was a little confusing when he searched through them. It made him feel quite uncomfortable. Lan Xiaoru glanced at Xiaolong. I've asked around, and the information I got was that Han Jingjing created a soft armor of disguise and used it to fool the soul projection device. That's why she was able to return to the mortal world without any problems and still maintain her soul form. To be honest, I really admire her. We've met our match this time. Xiaolong nodded and chuckled. I've met my match, isn't that a good thing? With Miss Lan here, I don't think that Han Jingjing will be able to make any waves. On the contrary, the things that she has come up with are also very inspiring to us. For example, the camouflage soft armor that can hide from the primordial spirit projection device. Since we know about it, we can always research it. You're quite confident, aren't you? You're a genius with the brains of 2 professors. Xiaoru smiled faintly, but her expression changed immediately. Not good. I finally understood why Han Jingjing had set up those devices to deal with our attacks. She must have hacked into our system. Xiaolong's face changed as well. The glasses professor and Lan Xiaoru were used to treating the second base as the central holy domain of the seabed. All the systems there were set up by the 2 of them, and they knew how strong it was against hackers. But this place was built by Jiangwen, and although it was the center standard system, it was far from being able to defend against network attacks. Jiangwen wasn't an idiot. He understood after hearing Xiaoru's words. He was very confident in his men's loyalty, and he didn't think there was a spy. However, he didn't have much confidence in the system's defensive capabilities, because he really didn't know much about it. Lan Xiaoru quickly pulled over the laptop beside her. Her fingers turned into 2 afterimages as they nimbly danced across the keyboard. Lines of instructions slid down like a screen, being refreshed. Those with poor eyesight might not even be able to see the words clearly. Xiaolong didn't idle around, either. He grabbed another laptop and entered the defense network. The glasses doctor and Lan Xiaoru worked well together, and Xiaolong had inherited his memories. It was natural for him to do things like this. In less than 3 minutes, Lan Xiaoru's serious expression loosened. She exhaled softly and said, "The interception was successful. The system has indeed been hacked. This Han Jingjing is truly a genius." Xiaolong's forehead was already covered in cold sweat. He wasn't as relaxed as Xiaoru, his face full of fear. That was close. Our system was already controlled by this little bitch. Luckily, the self-destruct system in the second base is independent and not connected to the external network. Otherwise, if she self-destructed, we'd all be dead. At the mention of self-destruct, everyone, including Xiaoru and Xue Jianfeng, shuddered involuntarily. They clearly remembered the self-destruct in the center of the sea. Although they didn't experience it themselves, the recording of it was quite shocking. It seems like we don't have much of an advantage in terms of technology this time. We need to get rid of him before he wakes up. Since technology doesn't work, we'll have to resort to brute force. Xiaoru narrowed her eyes as she spoke coldly. She then turned to Xue Jianfeng. What? Xue Jianfeng knew that she wanted him to make a move. In order to get the antidote as soon as possible, he immediately lowered his head and said respectfully, "Miss Lan, why don't you let me try a sneak attack?" If it was a frontal attack, Xue Jianfeng knew that he couldn't succeed alone. But if it was a sneak attack, he still had some confidence. Especially since the person he wanted to kill was Lin Yi. Xue Jianfeng was full of motivation. Xue Jianfeng, how confident are you in succeeding? Xiaoru indeed wanted Xue Jianfeng to make a move, but if the success rate was too low, she wouldn't force Xue Jianfeng to die. It wasn't easy to cultivate a master of the Black Ascension stage like Xue Jianfeng. There were so many resources in the Jianghu, but in the end only 2 succeeded. In the end, one of them, Qin Dongqing, betrayed them. The remaining Xue Jianfeng couldn't be easily killed. Otherwise, there wouldn't be enough resources to cultivate the next one. Xue Jianfeng thought about it seriously and said, if it wasn't for that Lenguza, the chance of killing Lin Yi is still very high. Not to mention that he's unconscious right now. Even if he's awake, as long as I don't fear death and keep using the spirit incinerator, I'll definitely be able to kill him. But with Lenguza by my side, the chance of success is probably less than 20%. Right, there's also Qin Dongqing. With this despicable traitor, I don't even have a 10% chance of success. Zhao Long seemed to have remembered something and snapped his fingers. He quickly pulled up a blurry video from the computer and said, this is the image taken by the satellite. It's the image of the sea near the center of the sacred region after it self-destructed. I almost forgot about this. Come and take a look. Xiaoru and Xue Jianfeng temporarily put down their discussion and turned to the big screen. In the azure blue sea, there was a blurry image of a dragon carrying 4 people on its back, moving quickly. It was the image of Lenguza going to help Lin Yi and the others. However, Lenguza was too fast and left the range of the satellite in an instant, leaving only this blurry image. Sea dragon! Xue Jianfeng exclaimed. He knew that Lenguza was the previous sea dragon, but he didn't expect that Lenguza had evolved into a sea dragon. This was even more difficult to deal with. Maybe he wouldn't even need Lin Yi and Qin Dongqing to do anything. Lenguza would kill him directly. Chapter 5761. Lan Xiaoru didn't pay attention to Xue Jianfeng's shock. Instead, she tapped on the table lightly. This was her habit when she entered her thinking mode. To deal with Lin Yi, Lenguza was an unavoidable obstacle. After evolving into a sea dragon, Lenguza was definitely not an opponent that could be ignored. Not to mention, the only one who could go toe-to-toe with Lenguza and Lin Yi was Xue Jianfeng. On Lin Yi's side, other than Lenguza, there was also Qin Dongqing, who betrayed them. Thinking about Qin Dongqing made Lan Xiaoru's teeth itch. If he didn't betray the center, after injecting the new recovery potion, he and Xue Jianfeng could work together to deal with Lin Yi's group. In the current situation, if they wanted to kill Lin Yi, they had to first get rid of Lenguza and Qin Dongqing. Normally speaking, this was an impossible task, but after thinking about it for a while, Lan Xiaoru really did come up with an idea. Professor Kong, immediately study Han Jingjing's soft armor with me. We must understand the theory behind it. Lan Xiaoru's fingers paused heavily, her face showing a confident expression as if she had everything under control. Zhao Long, on the other hand, was stunned for a moment. He then asked with uncertainty, Miss Lan, studying the soft armor now? What's the use? Was Xue Jianfeng supposed to disguise himself as a master of mountain opening stage, or even see splitting stage to scare Lenguza and Qin Dongqing? Would they be scared to death by Xue Jianfeng? It didn't seem very reliable, right? Lan Xiaoru curled her lips and smiled mysteriously. Doesn't Han Jingjing like to pretend and deceive people? Let's give her a taste of her own medicine. Studying the theory behind this soft armor isn't to create soft armor, but to create a new device. Zhao Long was indeed the reincarnation of the glasses professor. His rapport with Lan Xiaoru wasn't fake. He immediately understood what was going on. I understand now. Han Jingjing can use this kind of method to fool the spirit projector. If we can master it as well, with a 3D hologram, we can create a virtual image that looks exactly like a real person. These virtual images, as long as they can release the aura of a profound ascension stage, they can definitely distract Lenguza and Qin Dongqing's attention. Xue Jianfeng will be hidden within them. Whether it's ambushing them or killing Lin Yi, it'll be a piece of cake. Xiaolong got more and more excited as he spoke. His eyes were completely lit up. Jiang Wen and Xue Jianfeng couldn't help but admire this. They couldn't join in the conversation between technical maniacs at all, but knowing that there was a chance to kill Lin Yi was enough to make them happy. Just as Lan Xiaoru predicted, as long as they had a common enemy as their target, the conflict between them would be temporarily put aside. There's no time to lose. Let's start the research immediately and try to complete this device as soon as possible, Lan Xiaoru said as she quickly operated on the computer. She wasn't studying the camouflage device now, but she was re-strengthening the network's defense measures. Otherwise, if Han Jingjing hacked her again, she, Lan Xiaoru, would completely lose her face. Not only was it a matter of face, but the research this time must not be known by Han Jingjing, lest Han Jingjing came up with another countermeasure. Xiaolong didn't talk about this topic with Lan Xiaoru, but he started setting up the firewall as well. The glasses doctor was unparalleled when it came to working with Lan Xiaoru, and it was no wonder that Lan Xiaoru wanted him to inherit her memories as soon as she was reborn. With the two of them working together, it was almost impossible for Han Jingjing to hack into the central system without being discovered. The center was busy setting up the network's defense system. No one thought that Han Jingjing could hack into the central computer. This meant that the second base was completely exposed to Lin Yi. If Lin Yi were to counterattack, what would happen? Of course, in their hearts, Lin Yi was still unconscious. Even if he found out about this place, he wouldn't have the strength to attack. Plus, Jiang Wen had put a lot of effort into the second base's defense. The weapons were set up to defend against an entire army. In Songshan's villa, Han Jingjing's laptop suddenly made a crisp ding sound. She glanced at it casually and curled her lips. Finally found my intrusion. Not bad. The interception speed is also quite fast. After a day of training, Lin Yi had stabilized his strength after breaking through. He was planning to go to the center to settle the score when he heard Han Jingjing's words. Jingjing, you can confirm the location of the central base, right? Han Jingjing had used reverse tracking to hack into the central system and broke through the enemy's attack. She had told Lin Yi about this, so he wasn't surprised that the intrusion was stopped. After all, the enemy wasn't weak. It was normal for them to be stopped after discovering it. The main problem was where the central base was. As long as they could confirm it, they would be able to go straight to their base and take them all out. Lin Yi's soul wasn't completely stable after he woke up yesterday, and he needed some time to adjust to his breakthrough. That was why he didn't go straight to them. I know the location, but Big Brother Lin Yi, I think it's meaningless for you to go now. With the cunning of the people in the center, they must have known that their position was exposed after discovering my intrusion. So if you go now, you'll at most find some empty houses in the base. You won't get anything, Han Jingjing said with certainty. Based on her judgment, knowing that their position was exposed and Lin Yi could attack at any time, the people in the center wouldn't stay in the same place, no matter how stupid they were. Unfortunately, Han Jingjing also made the same mistake as Lan Xiaoru and the others in the center. She took it for granted. The people in the center took it for granted that Lin Yi was still unconscious, so they didn't have any scruples. And Han Jingjing also took it for granted that the center knew that Lin Yi had woken up. A awakened and angry Lin Yi. It went without saying how much damage he could cause. Both sides were coincidentally like this. One didn't escape in time, and the other didn't chase in time. They were too smart for their own good. Chapter 5762. Linguza came over and said, "Boss, since you're awake, why don't I go over and take a look before coming back? If they didn't escape, we can just kill them. What do you think?" When Lin Yi was unconscious, Linguza had been guarding the mansion, not daring to leave. Now that Lin Yi had woken up and Linguza heard that there was a possibility of a fight, of course he had to come over and decide on a spot. Han Jingjing waved her hand and smiled. "Linguza, stop messing around, they must have escaped. But don't worry, since they want to deal with Lin Yigij, They will definitely jump out. As long as we guard here, you don't have to worry about no one to beat up. If they come over when you leave, then you'll miss it. Lenguza thought about it and agreed. If he missed it because he left, wouldn't it be a pity? It was better to be safe. If he stayed by his boss's side, he wouldn't have to worry about no one beating him up. Sister-in-law Jingjing is right. Boss, let's wait here for them to come over. See how I'll take care of them. Languza patted his chest, looking like he was taking care of everything. Lin Yi smiled faintly. Then let's do it this way. We'll just wait for them to come looking for a beating. Han Jingjing quickly operated on the computer, and from time to time, she would communicate with the person in charge of the Songshan City's technology department through her earpiece. She had completely researched the center's UFO, but it was obviously impossible for her to manufacture it by herself. With the manpower and resources of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau and the financial resources of Miracle Dr. Guan Medical Group, they could complete the manufacturing of the UFO in the shortest time possible. The Supernatural Investigation Bureau had the opportunity to come into contact with such a high-tech UFO manufacturing technology, so they were secretly happy. Of course, they would put in the most effort to cooperate with Han Jingjing. Lin Yi, you're right. We'll wait for them to come looking for a beating. And by then our UFO will be almost complete, so they won't be able to escape even if they want to. Han Jingjing had a hint of pride on her face as she took the time to smile at Lin Yi. The UFO that was being manufactured was based on the original technology of the center, and had been improved to perfection. In terms of performance, it completely surpassed the center's UFO. Moreover, Han Jingjing had also improved the space compression technology of the center. After the new UFO was completed, it could freely change its size. The largest it could be was about the size of this villa, and the smallest was about the size of Han Jingjing's palm. Rather than calling it a high-tech product, it would be more appropriate to call it a legendary artifact. Only a heaven-defying person like Han Jingjing could perfectly fuse the technology of the center and the forging technology of Heaven Stage Island to such a degree in such a short time. Lin Yi smiled faintly and said, "It's good to have you by my side. This time, if those fellows from the Central Command dare to come, I will definitely not let them off." On a screen next to Han Jingjing was the scene of the construction of the UFO. Lin Yi leaned over to take a look. The general framework was almost built, and the new shell alloy was about to be covered. These alloys were improved by Han Jingjing after she decomposed the wreckage of the UFO. The technology used was at least 100 years ahead of the current mainstream technology. It was more advanced than liquid metal, so it could cooperate with space technology to change the size of the UFO. By the way, Jingjing, I happen to have something to ask you. I didn't think of it yesterday. Lin Yi slapped his forehead. When he was in the immemorial small world, he wanted to tell Han Jingjing about the divine sense, alchemy, fire, and the sea beast knight in alchemy. Unfortunately, he couldn't go back to Heaven Stage Island at that time. Now that he met Han Jingjing, he actually forgot about it. Seeing that Han Jingjing could still talk leisurely, Lin Yi also mentioned it casually. It should not disturb her. Lin Yi took out a sea beast knighten of the gold core stage and handed it to Han Jingjing along with some pill recipes collected in the immemorial small world. In the immemorial small world, they all use divine sense to condense the alchemy fire and use the sea beast knighten as the main material for alchemy. I have tried several times, but there is no way to succeed. Hey, is there such a method? It's quite interesting. Han Jingjing took the sea beast knighten and the pill recipe and looked at it over and over several times, and her eyes lit up. For Han Jingjing, it was obviously a very interesting thing to have a new research idea and direction. Lin Yi could throw these problems to her, which was exactly what she wanted. Big brother Lin Yi, it seems that your automatic alchemy furnace needs to be upgraded to a new version, but this is not urgent. Han Jingjing put the sea beast knighten and the pill recipe into her soft armor, then turned back to fiddle with the laptop and continued to set a series of parameters of the flying saucer. let Jing Jing make the first generation of flying saucer for Big Brother Lin Yi first, lest those bad guys in the center escape. Is there anything I can help you with? Lin Yi also knew that he couldn't help Han Jingjing in this regard, but it was still necessary to show his concern. Yes, Big Brother Lin Yi is accompanying Jing Jing by my side, which is already a great help. This can make Jing Jing full of motivation. Han Jingjing turned her head and gave Lin Yi a bright smile. Lin Yi was suddenly happy and touched his nose. It turned out that he also had a halo of motivation, which he had just discovered. This time, Linguza tactfully turned his head and pretended not to hear. Boss and sister-in-law are showing off their love as mentioned on the internet? Humans are really complicated. It seems that this dragon still has a lot to learn. Lin Yi and the center coincidentally formed a tacit understanding. Both sides spent 2 peaceful days in research and manufacturing without any probing or attacks. In these 2 days, Lin Yi didn't waste any time, other than chatting with everyone often. He put all his effort into refining the last divine sense tumor in his spirit, using the heaven's stolen fortune battle art and the divine sense fruit to cultivate. Although the last divine sense tumor was very stubborn, it was completely refined. When all the divine sense tumors disappeared, Lin Yi's spirit instantly felt a sense of relaxation and joy, as if his whole body was about to ascend to heaven. The powerful divine sense spread out like a tide, and the entire Songshan city appeared in Lin Yi's sea of consciousness. At this moment, it was as if he was standing in the air, looking down at the city. No matter which remote corner he was in, he could see everything clearly with just a thought. He could even see how much dust was on a bottle cap that someone had thrown on the ground.